So, welcome back. I'm back again. Back again. What's up? Thanks for coming back. What's up? Me too. What's up, Durango? What it is? We all back. Shit. Hopefully we can get at least a good one or two discussions in here. Because the other one's not even worth posting the replay on for real. So maybe we'll get a good one there. Maybe we'll get a good one. What's up? What's up? Alright. Gotta get some good debates in here, right? Gotta get some good debates in here, hopefully. Well, yeah, it is pretty silly. I dabbled in it for like 20 years, unfortunately. Not too seriously the last few, though, so at least I know it wasn't a complete waste of time. You're right, though. It is quite silly, yes. Quite silly indeed. The shocking thing is, it's not even hard to prove it's silly. But it's hard to get the point across, if that makes sense. Then again, if you accept the doctrines of the Bible, you'll accept a whole lot of silly stuff, I suppose. Anyway, welcome back in. Welcome back, y'all. Hopefully we get some... I don't even know if it's the most plausible of them all, but then again, well, I guess it depends on what you... I don't know. I mean, hard to say. Alright, maybe we got somebody already. Let's see. Hey, Universal Man, you there?
Yeah, good day. I saw that you have on your prompt about God condoning slavery.
Yeah. Are you? We can get in. We'll get into that in a second. Are you over 18 and are you a Christian?
Yeah. I'm over 40. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you would disagree with that? You don't think slavery's in the Bible or God allows slavery?
Okay. Now, slavery is certainly in the Bible, right? It was certainly a
Yeah.
part of the system within the nation of Israel. That is without that. That is just factual, right?
Oh, yeah.
But
We
does
agree.
it mean that God? No, hold on. The question, the statement you had is not that slavery was a part of the Israelite system. That's not what you had there. You had that it was a part of the system and God condoned it. It's the condoning
Yeah, he
part
did
is what
condone it.
I'm. Okay, what would make you say that God is condoning it? So we're not
Do you know
talking
what
about it as
do you know
part of
what
the
condone
system. Go ahead.
means? Do you know what condone means?
Approve of, approve of, that it is right.
The actual definition of condone is to allow or permit immoral behavior to continue. So if you think slavery is immoral and God allowed it to continue, then it's literally the definition of condoning slavery.
Okay. Could I respond to that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Now you would admit that words have both denotative meanings and connotative meanings. So what you just read would be the denotative meaning, right? But you know that words also have connotations. The word condone, what you said there is absolutely correct. That's the denotative meaning. But condone also have connotations that this is something that I personally support. So when you
It
use the
means to
word
allow
condone,
or permit something bad behavior to
yes,
continue. And since he permitted it,
yes,
that's literally the definition. Yeah.
yes, and I did not disagree, but with you, right?
Oh,
What
I
I'm
thought you were
saying
saying it
is,
wasn't that. My bad.
no, I didn't disagree with you. What I'm asking
Oh,
now is, do you accept that the word condone has other connotative meanings?
not that I know of.
Okay, would you say that in our modern usage of the word condone, or in our colloquial usage of the word condone, it also carries the meaning of this is something that I also think is just?
I don't think you can directly apply that to the word. No.
So you don't believe that when we use the word condone in our modern usage of it, that it carries a meaning beyond just allowing, but it also means active supporting.
Well, he is actively supporting it. That's what I don't understand. I don't know what you mean.
Okay, what I'm saying is, in our modern usage of the word condone, it means more than just allowing. It's someone actively supporting the activity. Do you accept
Sure, but
that?
even if you use it that way, God is still doing that.
Okay, good. Now so we could have a conversation based on that definition of the word condone, because
No,
on the
okay, so
denotative
we'll
meaning,
change the
you would
definition
be
and talk
correct.
about that. Okay, gotcha.
Correct. So did God think that slavery was correct? So we could talk about that instead.
He absolutely did, because all the commands and
Go ahead.
decrees and ordinances that God gives, he says, are perfect. They are doing what's good and right in the sight of the Lord. So it's obviously good and right in the sight of the Lord, unless you're just saying God misquoted that or something.
Okay. Could I respond to that?
Yeah,
Okay. Perfection. There's only Christ said that there's only one who is perfect, which is his Father, Yahweh, right? So only
sure.
Yahweh is absolutely perfect. Everything else has a measure of perfection relative to him. So we are therefore so every other form of the word perfection is utilitarian, meaning that it's perfect for the purpose that it was built for. For example, the perfect thing to cut bread with is a knife. That doesn't mean that a knife is infinitely sharp. So, so what I'm saying, only Yahweh is perfect in the absolute sense. Everything else is perfect in a utilitarian sense, which would also apply to the law, which would also apply to the commands that God gave. It's the best thing for that context, but it doesn't mean that it's ephemerally perfect. For example, this world is
Well, it doesn't
perfect.
matter. Like, if you just read
Go
Deuteronomy,
ahead, go
God
ahead.
says keeping these laws are what's doing good and right. He said, like, here, I'm looking at a line right now. In
Yeah,
Deuteronomy
go ahead,
4,
go
it
ahead,
says,
go ahead.
what other great nation has statutes and ordinances as just as this entire law that I'm setting before you today? God is literally saying these laws are just and good and right in his sight. So
Okay.
why
So
would
could I
God give a law
go ahead,
that's
go ahead.
not good and right in his sight?
Could I respond to that?
Yeah, you don't have to ask me if you can respond. I'll let you.
Okay, good. So let's make a fair comparison. Let's compare the Mosaic Law Code with the Code of Hammurabi. All right. So if because if you're just looking at the Mosaic Law Code in a vacuum, you may not see how, because Yahweh was actually making a comparative statement. Notice that he compared the laws that he gave to Israel with the other nations. Now, it's not an absolute statement, which is how you are interpreting it. It's a comparative statement. So
Yeah,
that's
it's
why I
still
would like
wrong.
to. Okay, but what I'm saying, just by a quick comparison of the Mosaic Law Code to the Law Code of the Laws of Hammurabi, right? The Israelites
Yeah.
were to call each other brothers. According to the law of Hammurabi, there was you got justice depending on whether you were a free man and what tier of free man you were. That sort of justice was not in Israel. For example, an Israelite, when Yahweh gave the promised land, right? When they got the promised land, not even the king could have taken a man's house or land because of the Mosaic law code. So even when Jezebel's husband, King Ahaz, wanted a vineyard from a normal Israelite man, he couldn't just come and take it because of the Mosaic law code. That only happened in England under the Magna Carta over 1,500 years later.
Do you mind
So
if
listen to what I'm
if we're gonna, sir? Do you mind if we stick to the laws about slavery? If you're gonna compare the law collections, maybe we could stick to the law collections about slavery.
Ooh, I am seeing the big Joshua Bowen has come up here. Wow. Well,
How are you, sir?
okay, my goodness. Okay, I Now I'll have to be very precise with my
Yeah,
history
sprung mode you
because
like a trap.
I am now in the
Sorry,
presence of a bona fide
sorry, I can
historian.
definitely
Oh
drop
my
down.
goodness.
Sorry, I heard
No, 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 no,
Hammurabi and
no, no, please, no, stay, no, stay. Because you would just challenge me to be historical. And that's okay. Because we should not be ashamed of knowledge. Right? And
well,
I shouldn't be ashamed of my ignorance as well. So I welcome you to stay.
oh no,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
I'm not sorry, just to be clear, I'm not challenging
Mhm,
you to be historical or I'm just saying like if we're gonna compare the law collections, if you're gonna make a broad argument that like,
mhm,
the law, the Mosaic law is
mhm,
morally superior or something to another law collection. I mean, I think
mhm.
that's going to be a very, it's going to take you some time, I think, to make that
Yes, yeah,
argument. And I
it's
don't know
true.
that you'd be
Yes,
able
that is
to.
correct. Yeah,
But if we're
within the
talking
time
about,
constraints.
yeah, sure. But I think if we
Mhm.
could do it, at least, I think if we look
Partially.
at, yeah, if we look at the law collections and what they say about slavery, maybe that would be a good comparison.
Okay. Okay. I have read the Law of Hammurabi 3 times, but I've read it like about 2 years ago. But my memory should still be okay for this conversation. At least I hope.
So, do
Okay.
you remember how long the Code of Hammurabi limits indentured servitude to?
I think is 6 years and no, sorry, the Israelites was 6 years and the Code of Hammurabi was 3 years.
Right. But
Good. So I
the
still remember something nice. Go ahead.
right, and
Go
then the
ahead.
Hebrew Bible that only goes for Hebrews, right?
Just
It's
clarify.
only
What you
Hebrews
mean?
you have to let go after 6 years, is what I mean.
In the Jubilee year, I may be mistaken, but I would assume that that is all slaves. If I'm mistaken, please correct me.
It can seem that way from like a cursory reading of Leviticus 25, but I mean, I think most scholars would say, given the language there, it's just for Israelites. The
It's just
Jubilee,
what?
Right.
just for Israelites.
Oh, it's just the Jubilee year when
Yeah.
non-Israelite slaves were released.
No, they would have been maintained.
Okay. But I would, to me, the releasing of slaves, although it's stipulated in the law, to me, I think that we could agree that that is something that would not have been put into practice because it's something that is very hard to police and it's something that is so accepted by the society as well. So what I'm saying is it would be an easy law to break both for an Israelite and for someone living in Mesopotamia. That's the point I'm making. So it's
Yeah,
really
Yeah,
like
sure.
a law
application's
in
a
the book,
different
but it's
issue,
not a
though.
really law in actuality.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can
But
see
yeah,
that in Jeremiah 34, right? I mean, even if that's not a historical representation, at least it seems to be presenting something that's going on, right? The Israelites are maintaining their debt slaves. So yeah, I mean, I agree with you.
okay. Okay. So I would just like to go back to the condoning to Yahweh condoning slavery. And since we have Joshua here, so I could get his perspective in person, but which is, I mean, to be honest, I actually have a high standard for Joshua Bowen. So it's kind of like a privilege to actually be speaking with him right now.
That is very kind. I appreciate that.
Amen to that.
Yeah. No, I mean, the man is a genuine scholar. Some of his works I disagree
Yeah.
with, right? But I would say that I agree with him with about 60 to 70% of what he has written. And he is a genuine scholar. Okay.
Well, you talking to the
That
man
being
right now? Hit him.
right. So that's why I am forcing my words because I'm trying to be careful with the words that I'm using. Okay. Going back to God condoning slavery, right? Slavery, I think we could all admit that slavery was a part of because the Israelites were actually Syrians of Syrian stock, right? And the Syrians were already practicing slavery, right? So before God chose a Syrian to become the founding member of the nation of Israel, this was in their DNA, so to speak. So God is already taking from a bad stock, and He's trying to to take that bad stock from Abraham, whose father was also a pagan, right? And he's trying to convert Abraham with his baggage, historical baggage, to the sort of person that he wants his nation to be, right? So I would say that God is condoning slavery in as much as he needed a people for his name, and all persons at that time were already practicing slavery. So God is on a reforming campaign. But how would you all respond to that?
Yeah. So, like, I feel like this is just. I mean, you may know this, but this is like a a pretty standard in more like academically minded apologists. This is their position. So, I think this is the best. I think this is the best position
Okay, good.
apologetically.
Well,
Um,
I'm getting a compliment from Dr. Bowen, so
no,
that's good.
like I did a debate. Kip Davis and I did a debate with Gavin Ortland and Trent Horn on this topic, and this was effectively their position. I think the trouble with it is so
Go
to
ahead.
I guess the steel man it like you have Matthew 19 on your side, right? The whole Matthew 19 principle about divorce and look, here's this law in Deuteronomy 24 about divorce, but this wasn't the way that it was from the beginning, but Moses let you do this because of the hardness of your hearts.
Okay, yes, correct.
Yeah. So I like the strength of that argument is that you could say, well, certainly it wouldn't just be limited to just divorce, right? Maybe we could infer that this is a broader
Within a
principle,
broader
right?
reforming scheme. Go ahead.
Right. And so then we could say, okay, what other things seem to fit into the category of a practice that we would say is immoral, but like God's trying to like work them out of it, and then slavery could fall into that category. So
Which
the
is my
problem,
argument, correct.
right,
Go
right.
ahead.
So I would say the two hurdles, shall we say, that I think that argument has to overcome is one, the reason that I think that we are putting it in that category is, I think from a Christian perspective, sort of arbitrary, because we're looking at it today and saying, given our history and what we've seen happen in the abolitionist movement, we all agree that's immoral. But 300 years ago, there would have been an awful lot of people that would have said no, that are Christians that would have said no, we don't think it's immoral. So I think there's a bit of arbitrariness there. To be fair,
But could you just
yeah, sure, go ahead.
repeat that? Trying to get what is the specific nature of the arbitrariness?
Oh, it's just that I think we're saying it now that it falls into a category of immoral behavior because of our life experiences, right? Of as a nation.
But Christians 300 years before would have accepted it.
Sure.
Okay. But remember, Christians 300 years before isn't really the standard. The standard is Yahweh Himself.
Oh, sure. I agree with you, but the only way to ascertain what Yahweh's standard is, I think, from your lights, or at least from standard Christian theological lights, is what say the scriptures, right? So that would be the other. I think that would lead to the other problem is that you'd have to. Well, I guess maybe there are three problems. You'd have to show where God is against slavery, either in the New Testament or the Old Testament. I think that's a.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead if you want to talk about it.
Now that is fair. That what you said, that I would have to demonstrate from the Old Testament that God is against slavery. That is a fair critique, right? But it may be a threshold that I may not be able to rise to, because the Old Testament, unfortunately, is written to a people who were already pro-slavery, and
Sure.
for example, remember the prophets are calling the same people to repentance, and to call them already to repentance. Remember, because the whole point of the nation of Israel is for the Messiah. That's because it's by means of the Messiah is how all nations would be blessed. So the whole point of the prophet is to keep a relative people so that the Messiah could come through. The prophet is the point of the prophets isn't really to no, it is to call the nation to repentance and to produce good fruits, sir. But if they don't get that, at least the Messiah, you all must have a modicum of decency so that the Messiah could come through. It couldn't be that you all descended to the lights of those who burned it, who like to Molech, where you all have pagan priestesses who practice fornication during the rituals. You all couldn't sink that low. So I think that so the point I'm making is while your critique is valid, because of who the prophets are writing to, they couldn't show the fullness of Yahweh. They may not have been a people if they were saying that, well, Yahweh's standard is no slavery at all. But are you
Yeah,
understanding
but he
what I'm
does
trying to
forbid slavery sometimes.
It certainly allows and regulates slavery, but is there any point in the Old Testament that we could say, well, this is the absolute standard of Yahweh, or is this just something that Yahweh is permitting to allow the Messiah to
Yes.
pass through, which would be? Okay, go ahead.
He said, we just read it. He says, keeping these laws, commands, and decrees are what's doing good and right in my sight, and you will keep them all the days you live on the earth. He doesn't say, I'm passing these laws and we're going to change some later as we evolve. He says, keep these laws forever, and they are good and right and just in his sight.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
So he's not planning to change the law.
do you mind if I just add something small here,
Go
and then
ahead.
I'll definitely
Yeah,
mute up.
sure.
You guys can go down that path.
Sure.
I think like I was on a panel last night with Ron Hendel and John Collins, and we were talking about sort of the direction of the study of Hebrew Bible, the field of Hebrew Bible. And one of the things that came up was the book of Joshua. And I was saying that I do a lot of work in these, I promise I'm going somewhere with this. Sorry. I do a lot of work in these spaces like public facing scholarship. And the book of Joshua comes up in the conquest account quite a bit. And Ron said, yeah, but I mean, that's all fictitious. Now, Ron Hendel, I don't know if you know him, he's out of Berkeley. And I was like, right. I know that, but that's sort of where I'm trying to get people to get, right? And he's like, yeah, but it's really important for them to recognize that it's fictitious. And I'm like, but so I think we were kind of talking past each other. So if the question is, or if your framework, Universal, is a Christian theological perspective, then I think it's absolutely fair for you to take all of the things that fit into that framework into account, right? So Jesus can then speak to the law, right? And things that Jesus says can, like Matthew 19 becomes a viable critique of Deuteronomy 24. But I think we just need to set our parameters. If we're looking at the Hebrew Bible and we're trying to find somewhere in the Hebrew Bible where Yahweh is saying my law is not perfect, I think you won't search in vain, but there's a very, very strong theological trend throughout the Deuteronomistic history, and even in the Pentateuch, that the law is perfect. It's what they're supposed to do. You have some stuff in Ezekiel where they're talking about God commanding child sacrifice and how that was an imperfect law but that's, I think, sort of a different path to go down. So I just think framing it, how we frame it and what the parameters are for interpretive framework, I think is going to tell the tale here, I guess, if that made sense to anybody.
Yes, it does. Well, I will respond to his that the Israelites were to keep this forever afterwards, but I'll address your perfection first. I don't know if you heard me when I gave the host a distinction between the absolute perfection of Yahweh and the relative perfection of His creation. But did you hear that explanation that I gave?
Actually, I put a comment in asking. And again, this is going to get back to the framework, right? To show that in the Hebrew Bible.
Go ahead.
No, that was my comment was, can you show that distinction as an actual category distinction in the Hebrew Bible?
Oh, okay. Okay. Now let me be be honest. I have not done the empirical research to make to. This is something that I believe is something that I believe could be found, but I haven't done the actual research
I hear you.
to actually make the point in an academic setting. So I'll have to say no, not academically. I can't make that point right now, but I believe it could be made.
Okay. That's absolutely fair.
But
And I appreciate that response actually a lot. It's
okay,
very honest.
okay, and I'll come to his that the law was given to the Israelites in perpetuity. I believe, well, Joshua Bowen will correct me, but the word for forever could also mean of a long duration of time, if I remember my Hebrew correctly. And I know that Joshua will correct me if I'm wrong.
It
So,
it definitely it definitely can mean that. I don't know that it means that in relation
in this
to
context,
to the statutes and the judgments.
I
I
mean,
think
well, I have
those
to
are
use
yeah.
everything available to support my point of view, right?
Sure,
I
sure, sure.
mean,
Sorry. I'll mute up.
come on,
Sorry. Go
man.
ahead.
Yeah, no. Now, again, I don't know if it means that in this context. I haven't done the actual empirical research to see when Yahweh is giving them the law in perpetuity, if that
Well,
means
the
for all
words
time
are all the
or just
days
for a
you
long
live on
period
the
of time.
earth. It doesn't necessarily, it says forever sometimes, but it also says all the days you live on the earth. It says you are to keep this law all the days you live on the earth. So,
Right.
I mean, that would be pretty clear.
Yes. Okay. Now the point is because for example, like Seventh-day Adventists believe that the Mosaic law code is binding on all mankind, right? And I am not 7 days. I am preterist, right? But I'm not 7 days. I reject the 7 days and even the preterist understanding that the whole point of Christ is about the covenant is a covenantal judgment. Some preterists they say, well, even the tree of good and knowledge was symbolizing the law covenant. To me that is just a horrible context replacement, right? But the point I'm trying to make is that preterists who hold that view about the tree of life symbolizing the Mosaic law code, and 7 days Adventists who hold that the Mosaic law code is binding on all mankind. I just hold it as binding on that people, as the host just read, all the days of their life. I don't see anything within the writing of the Mosaic law code that categorically means that that would be binding on all mankind. As for
You want me to
how
show you?
go ahead.
In Isaiah 56, after God forms this eternal covenant, he welcomes all who will obey. He says even foreigners will be welcomed into his covenant. That means if you want to come keep the law and get to God, you can, even if you're a foreigner. But you have to keep the law to get to God, though. It's in Isaiah 56.
Okay, yes. Okay, yes. And that same law, right? Okay, now there is a law that is for all persons. The
Yeah,
question is if that law is the Mosaic law code. So I'm not denying that
it is.
Yahweh
It
has a
says keep the
law.
Sabbath and stuff. That's the Mosaic law.
Okay, but could I respond to that argument?
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's the same argument that I used to respond to 7 days Adventists and preterists who believe that the tree of life symbolize the Mosaic law code. Right? Romans 2, I think it's verse 15, talks about the Gentiles who do the things of the law by nature. They have the law written in their hearts, which I believe is actually the new covenant, because the new covenant was to be written on their hearts. So I'm saying that
I agree.
so that's why I am agreeing, yes, there's a law that Yahweh expects all mankind to keep. But what I believe is that law is the same law that Paul is referring to in Romans 2, where it is more not the letter of the law, but the spirit of the law as encompassed in the new covenant. Right? So that's why I believe that things like the Sabbath was nailed to the I'd like to use the expression nailed to the cross, but it's something that people understand, like when I say it like that. Right? So be all about understanding but what I'm trying to express about the law, or did I lose you?
No, I get what you're trying to say. I just don't. I would disagree in the sense that the law didn't actually change in the new covenant. The place where it's at changes.
Okay.
Like it went from being written on tablets to being written on hearts and minds. Like the law didn't actually change, though.
But is it the Mosaic law? Is it the Mosaic law code still? But is it still the Mosaic law code, or has the law evolved into a different sort of expectations from Yahweh?
No, the law doesn't change at all according to Yahweh. It's supposed to last forever. It's eternal.
Okay,
That's why he uses
good.
words like, you are to keep this. These laws are what's doing good and right in my sight, and you will keep them all the days that you live on the earth.
Okay, yes, yes. Um, that is written. If I could draw, no, I'm not a Hebrew but Israelite, right? I am not, but I'm just drawing
Right.
on something that they highlighted to me, which I think may be relevant, in that they view that there's only one covenant between God and man. So they view like the old covenant is the new covenant, right?
No.
Because when I was telling them that there were two covenants, they were telling me no. And it's something that I've been wrestling with, but it may be pertinent in this discussion in the
Your
covenant
voice disappeared.
is that for,
Well, you're
oh, sorry.
cutting out for some reason.
Oh, could you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay, yeah. So what I was saying from Hebrew Israelite theology, how they see just one covenant between God and man, and that the new covenant is not so much is the old covenant for them, right? I the reason why I'm drawing on that is that yes, while there is only one law between God and men, right? It has evolved, but you are saying that it has not evolved. In that, okay, if it didn't evolve, right? Okay, so let me say that you are correct, that the law has been fixed. What God expected of men has always been consistent. How could Paul write in Romans 2 that those who do the law by nature, someone cannot observe the Sabbath by nature? Friday was 6 o'clock, the Saturday was 6 o'clock. Could someone do that naturally?
I don't know. Paul says a lot of wrong stuff.
True. Okay. 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 So,
Paul's
well, if
completely
Paul
at
is that,
odds with Jesus and God. Like, he says the exact opposite of what Jesus and God are telling you in the Bible.
um, okay, but I know that we might be straying. But if you would, if you don't mind us straying, could you give me another example of Paul doing that? If you don't
Yeah,
mind us
Paul
going
says
down
the
that
law, Paul straight up
route.
says the law is abolished. He says, it's gone. Like, that's literally what he's saying Jesus came and did. He abolished sin and abolished the law with all of its decrees and ordinances, which is absolutely insane because God even warned you that he's going to send false prophets to test you to see if you'll stop keeping the law. So if at any point, according to God, you stop keeping the law, you have failed his test.
Okay. Um,
That's
Christ said that he
Jesus says you
was.
have to keep the law of Moses to get to God. Like, he says it straight up. He even
Okay.
chastises the Pharisees for keeping the law of man over the law of God. So he's basically saying if you're keeping any of man's laws or traditions or whatever over God's, then you are doing it wrong.
Okay. Okay. Now, what you said there is factually correct, and I would not disagree with it in so much as to clarify it. Is Christ the master of the law?
It depends on how you look at it.
Okay. The reason why I am saying that, right, is that we could look how I tend to look at the Mosaic law code, Christ and Yahweh, is like a court system, right? In a court system, you have the lower court, you have the high court, and then you have the Supreme Court, right? And all of them would all are based, well, in England on case law, right? So case law, the magistrate would look at the regulations for case law at the lower court, right? And that decision could be rescinded at the high court.
Right.
And even the high court decision could be thrown out at the Supreme Court. The reason why I'm saying that, right? For example, when King David committed fornication with Bathsheba, the stipulation for that at the lower court meaning the Mosaic law code, was death. But Yahweh, who is the supreme judge, could come in and supersede that decision because he has more authority than case law. And that's why, although David was supposed to receive death, Yahweh could have come in and pronounced a more nuanced law on David's situation because he has more authority and more than just the. So that's what I'm saying. So, yes, you have the Mosaic law code, but what I'm saying is Christ of himself has more authority than the Mosaic law code in that he could come in and he could make a
It's
judgment.
like saying
And then
Jesus has more authority than God.
no, Yahweh has more authority than Christ. So how I see it is that you have the Mosaic law code, which is a general code to guide mankind, but Christ or Yahweh could step in as Yahweh did and even clarify what the law was supposed to govern, as in the case of David. So therefore, it means that the Mosaic law is not an absolute law. That is the
Well,
point
that's
I'm
just
trying to
God
make.
violating his own standards, is what that is.
But would you
That's
say
not
that a
fair or
supreme
just.
but, but would you say that a Supreme Court judge violates case law by
Yeah,
stepping
but
in?
a supreme. Well, no, not really. That's just different interpretations from different authorities in the law. But like you're talking about the authority and maker of the law. Like if the Supreme Court passed all these laws and then violated them constantly, nobody's going to take them serious. Like, what's the
Um,
point in having a law if you're not even going to hold people to it?
but law is challenged all the time, even
Well,
in man's
sure,
system,
well,
right?
sure, but this is a
Because the
man
law
system
was
dependent on human
given.
brains.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But every law is set within a given parameter. Not so like so for example, so even the US, but let's take where you are from because you sound American, right? Even the US Constitution, there had to be the First Amendment. But would you say that the First Amendment is law law lords coming, sorry, congressmen, because in America it's congressmen, is congressmen coming and displacing what was the original constitution? But would you say that, or would you say that they are now interpreting it in light of new circumstances?
yeah, they do that, and they said you would have to do that from the start. I mean, Ben Franklin said from the start. He said we will have to revise this. It'll need correcting later on as time goes by. Like they admitted all this. This is part of the
Why would they
plan.
have to
But
correct
God
it?
doesn't say that.
No,
God
just
says
wait.
these laws are perfect and you have to keep them and there's nothing wrong with them. And he puts away David's sin and punishes a baby. Like he literally makes a baby sick for a week and then kills the baby instead of David. Like this
Okay.
isn't good.
With the baby part, okay, but you may have a point about the baby part, right? I that does sound arbitrary, and I will grant you that. Okay, but the point I'm making is that it was perfect for the Israelites, and if
How
it
was
is
it perfect
going
for them?
for their situation,
So it was perfect that they kept
oh,
slaves.
sorry, go ahead. You, for example, the system of slavery that the Israelites inherited because they were Syrian of Syrian stock, right? The law was meant to govern that. But as God's people evolved, the laws that governing them should evolve just as with the US Constitution, as
You're right. They
American
should.
society evolves.
Yeah. They should, but they
Remember,
don't.
but then Joshua Bowen not highlight how Christ, with the law of Deuteronomy and giving a certificate to your wife and divorcing her. But Joshua Bowen showed that Christ was
Yeah, that's
reforming
why
the
Jesus was
Mosaic law.
wrong. Jesus tried changing the laws when God explicitly says these laws will not be added to or taken away from. He says these laws are perfect and you will keep them all the days that you live. You are not supposed to change, or God's laws aren't
Yeah.
subject to change.
Okay. What I would say finally, because I think I have my position, you have your position, and we could agree to disagree, I but I think that it's not being dogmatic to say that the Mosaic law was to govern the nation of Israel, right? But when Israel proved false and Yahweh had to turn his attention to the Gentile nations, you can't use what he was using for Israel to now govern the Gentile nations and not have any changes, just as the U.S. Constitution makes changes. And to say,
Well, they
and to
did
me,
change
Christ
their
was
own
starting.
laws. I mean, you have to. That's the only logical thing. The problem is that they're not supposed to.
Why are okay? Right, good. Why are they not supposed to? That's the big issue here.
Because
I don't
God
know whether
says not to. God says these laws are perfect and you will keep them all the days you live on the earth. Like you can read all kinds of lines like this.
Yes,
Just for
but
example,
when
here I'll go to a
sorry,
random
go
one. It
ahead.
says,
Sorry,
keep his
go ahead.
statutes and his commandments, which I am commanding you today for your own well-being and that of your descendants after you, so that you may long remain in the land that your Lord, your God, is giving you for all time.
Yes, and if you just really focus on what you just read there, he is speaking to Israel. He is speaking to the promised land. He is speaking to, if you keep my laws, then you would live perpetually within that promised land, and you would have the promise of the Messiah coming through your lineage. But it is given specifically to the Israelites, and you even localizing it to the promised land. So a law that is given to Israelites to govern their behavior in a specific land, right? It's given to a specific people to govern them in a specific land. If they come
Yeah.
outside of that land, could we really expect that law to govern their behavior outside of the parameters that was set up? Because you established certain parameters in that very verse, a specific people in a specific land. So if they
Yeah,
go outside of
the
those
problem
parameters,
with that is that
go
in the
ahead.
culmination of the Old Testament, when the new covenant comes to pass, it's for everyone. You're correct. He gave these laws to the Israelites. But the laws were meant for everybody. When the new covenant forms, everyone is welcomed into this covenant. Everyone can come to Yahweh. You can make
Which
sacrifices
law
to
is
Yahweh,
okay?
even if you're a
Which
foreigner,
sorry?
under his own covenant.
Okay, yes. There was a provision within the Mosaic law for the foreigner. Yes,
Yeah, and it's the same law. So you still have to keep the same laws.
yes. Now listen to me. There's a provision under the Mosaic law for the foreigner to become part of the nation of Israel, but it's still the nation of Israel within a specific geographic nation.
Sure.
When they go out, no, listen, no, okay, no, hear about what I'm saying. Within the Mosaic law,
No, I agree with
yes,
you.
but once they stepped out, once the nation of Israel proved, remember, and the Mosaic, the covenant was not a it was not a unilateral covenant. The Mosaic law is not a unilateral covenant. There's only one unilateral covenant between God and man, and that's the Abrahamic covenant. No matter what Abraham did, God would have had to keep that covenant. But the Mosaic law, the Mosaic covenant or the old covenant was not be unilateral. So if they broke it, God wasn't bind to them, bind to keep his part of the bargain. The reason why I'm saying that is that the same Mosaic law covenant, as I said twice, I'd like to repeat myself, but just to make the point, it was to govern specifically the nation of Israel. Yes, it was also, as you highlighted, other persons could have come into that arrangement and they would have had to have their ears pierced, right? And to be known as one of them. Other persons could have come in, but that was still within the geographic area of Israel. When the people step outside of Israel, then they step outside of the parameters that the law was designed to govern them within. So there must be something new to accommodate this new expression.
Yeah, but
At least
that's
that
what
is
I'm
my
saying.
point.
It's the
No, you may
same
not
law.
agree, but at least
It don't even matter if you go out. I'm talking about the foreigners outside the land. They can still be welcomed into this covenant. The whole world is welcomed into this covenant if they want to obey. If not, you destroy them. But
the, within the context of the old covenant, the whole world could be welcome into it. How do I respond to that?
Well, I mean, this
Okay,
even says it, like in Isaiah 56, it even says, "Thus says the Lord God, who gathers the outcast of Israel." So He's cast them outside the land, but He still expects them to be the right. He says, "I will gather others to them besides all those already gathered." But He's saying, "And the foreigners who join themselves to the Lord to minister to Him, to love the name of the Lord, to be His servants, all who keep the Sabbath and do not profane it, and hold fast to my covenant." The covenant is still the same laws. Like foreigners are literally doing the same thing Israelites can do, but they're still subservient to Israel.
okay. How do I reason? No, but you asked a very valid question. Could the whole world not be accommodated within the law covenant? That's a fair question. Okay. How I would respond to it is that, okay, remember but when I said that the Mosaic law covenant was a unilateral covenant, right? Meaning that the Israelites had to hold on to their end of the bargain. And when they
Yeah.
didn't, right? Because they didn't, history proved that they didn't when they were on Mount Sinai, and Moses said that, and Moses read the law, and the nation said that all that Moses has said we are willing to do. And when they didn't hold up to that end of the bargain, right, they had to face the consequences, right? And it is within the framework of the consequences, it's within they not holding up to their end that
Yeah,
broke the
God got
covenant.
really,
Hold on,
really
okay,
mad when
wait,
people stopped keeping the law, didn't he?
no, just no. Okay, I now realize why. Because you asked me a good question and you're forcing me to consider my own theology. They broke the covenant.
Yeah.
Remember, the Israelites said on Mount Sinai, all that Yahweh has spoken, we are willing to do, and now they have broken the covenant. So, yes, you are correct. Now, listen to what I'm saying. You are correct. All of mankind could have been, and you have clarified my own theology, so I have to thank you for that. You are absolutely correct. All of mankind could have been accommodated within the old covenant if Israel had proven faithful to that covenant. There wouldn't have
Yeah.
been a need for a new covenant. You are correct.
Right.
You are
But we have a
100%
new
correct.
covenant. And that's the one I'm
Because
actually
Israel
referring to
broke the
now.
old covenant.
Yeah.
The reason why
So
we
he
have
made a
a
new
new
covenant.
covenant. Okay,
Yeah.
just now, but I want to clarify this for anyone but who might be listening, because I by myself only just appreciated this point. The reason why we have a new covenant is not that the old covenant could not accommodate the whole world. That is not the reason. The reason why we have a new covenant is that Israel broke the old covenant, which would have been good enough. That's my position, right? So yes,
Yeah.
you are correct. The old covenant was good enough to accommodate all mankind if they didn't break it. And it's in the breaking of the old covenant that there's the new covenant, which is supposed to do the same thing that the old covenant but was supposed to do. Right? So the old covenant but would have been good enough? Yes. Yes. I'll have to agree
Yeah,
with
but
you.
this
I say
time he
yes.
was making sure everybody knows the law.
What do you mean by that?
Well, that's the difference in the old covenant and the new covenant. In the new covenant, the laws aren't written on tablets. In the new covenant, they're written on your heart and on your mind. You will not have to inquire any longer to a tablet or a priest about what the law is, because it's supposed to be written in your mind. You're supposed to know all this like innately in the new covenant. It even
Okay.
says from the least of them to the greatest, they will all know me.
Yes, you are correct. But
That's exactly why the new covenant fails just like the old one did. But the point is that
go
when
ahead.
the new covenant is formed, the entire world is supposed to come to Yahweh through this covenant. That's why Jews don't have to proselytize and Christians do, because Jews think when the Messianic age comes that everybody's going to know Yahweh one way or another. Why do you have to go proselytize when everybody's about to know God? That's
I
the whole point.
agree. I agree with you on that statement. With a
Yeah.
slight nuance, but yes, I agree but with you that Christians should not be proselytizing.
No, Christians are
Because
supposed to proselytize. They're supposed to spread the good news. I'm
okay,
saying
okay,
Jews don't
yes.
have to
Okay, sorry.
because
I'm
they
using
have
it in a
actual
specific
context.
sense. Okay, sorry.
Oh,
I'm using. Yes, you are correct that he's supposed to preach the good the gospel of the kingdom and to be baptized. And yes, but I wasn't using it from that perspective. I was using proselytizing from the perspective of teaching people how to be good. Remember, because you just brought up that they wouldn't have to be taught, that they would know. So I was using proselytizing from that aspect, not from preaching the kingdom of the heavens and baptizing. No, I wasn't using it from that perspective. I'm using it from the perspective that it's the same perspective in Romans 2 verse 15 that I alluded to earlier, that the Gentiles would do by nature the things of the law. No one would have to proselytize and teach them how to do that. They would within themselves, because and this is an argument that I make for persons who believe, no, you are not Christian, you're atheist, right? Or, well, you sound more
Yeah.
agnostic than atheist, but which is a good thing, right? But for
I'm an atheist,
persons who
though. I
believe,
do argue from more of an agnostic point, though.
yeah, yeah, and that's why you sound a lot more reasonable, all right? But just an argument that I make for Christians who believe that is only those in the body of Christ would be saved, because they have this view that you have to be in the body of Christ. The same point that we are talking about here, that persons would have the laws written. The fact that Gentiles who don't know the law have the law, who have never been taught the law, have the law. I put it down to that, yes, there is a salvation within the body of Christ. There's a salvation as well. Because Christ said that unless you become like a child, you cannot enter into the kingdom of heaven. So there's also a salvation for persons who have that childlike mentality, who have the law written in their hearts. And that may not be something, for example, someone could be deep in the Amazon and they have a childlike disposition and they have the law written in their heart. And there's a salvation for them as well. So that is the point that I wanted to make in that. So when I said that Christians don't need to proselytize, that is the point that I was trying to make.
Oh.
Based on
Yeah, it's almost
Romans
like
2.
the Christians don't even know what the new covenant actually is.
That is it. That is it. That is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it straight up says it. It says, no longer will they teach one another or say to one each other, know the Lord. They'll all know me.
Correct.
Like it's literally
Yeah.
saying, you don't have to teach this shit anymore because
So in
somebody's just
that
going to know it.
sense, Christians don't need to proselytize. In that sense, and that persons would know right from wrong.
In the actual sense of the context, yeah, they don't, but they don't know the actual context. So.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
like
know any
literally
Christian
one of my
that
topics up
teaches
here.
this.
They don't actually know the context
Yeah,
or care about the
yeah.
context.
That's true. That's true. And this, well, to be honest, I don't know any Christian, because most Christians they have the dogma that unless you be in the body of Christ, you're going to hell, right? So that's where, but that's the state of Christianity, right? Yeah. So if we just the final word on God condoning slavery, because that's where the conversation started. Because I'm looking to wrap up,
Right.
right? You are correct. He did condone slavery, right? I would say
He wrote
yes.
it on
God
their hearts and
condoned.
their mind that you can own slaves.
So I would say God did condone slavery, but I think the better question is, was God justified in condoning slavery? So I think that you should
Obviously
tweak your.
not.
Remember, I'm
Slavery's
not
not
saying
okay. Like, I'm not okay with slavery. It is wrong to own other people. I disagree with God here. God was an asshole for allowing them to own slaves. And, like, I think your argument is, honestly, I think it's failing on a lot of levels here, because in Leviticus
Go ahead.
25, where it says you can have male and female slaves and own them as property, it says if any who are dependent on you become so impoverished that they sell themselves to you, you shall not make them serve as slaves. So God clearly had the ability to forbid slavery when he don't like it. So why didn't he just extend that and say, hey, maybe don't make nobody serve as slaves? That would have been a lot more moral to me.
I think that you're misunderstanding what that scripture is saying. That scripture is saying that they could have had not that they could have had chattel slaves from persons of the nations. The Israelites could have had chattel slaves, but they couldn't make their
Yeah,
brothers into chattel slaves. Their brother could have only been a
exactly.
debt
So,
slave, not
yeah,
a
God
chattel
is saying
slave.
you can't make them serve as a debt slave, but he's saying if you want slaves, you have to go to these other nations and get them, or from the foreigners here. He's saying you can't make a Hebrew serve as a slave, a debt slave.
As a chattel
That's
slave.
why I'm saying he's clearly, well, yeah, but I mean, he's clearly capable of forbidding slavery.
It is a
when he don't
double
like it.
standard. Hold on, just now. It is a double standard, right?
Absolutely, it's a double standard.
Hold on, but is it? But remember the double standard. Remember, I think that I think that if you lose sight that God is on a reformation mission, because there is no one good at this point in history, there is no people good enough to be called gods and people. So if God, so for example, like the standard that you and Joshua Bowen use, right? There was no person on earth who was meeting that standard. So there would be no Messiah.
Yeah, they
because there
probably
was
didn't
no-
want to stone their children to death. Is what I'm guessing. Like
No,
maybe they
wonder
started
if
that
you
way,
understand-
but
Sorry.
at some
Go ahead,
point
you
in
go ahead.
time, they decided they didn't like sacrificing their children and stoning them to death, so they revised it. But God don't like that.
No, but what I'm saying is the standard that you all are setting for God to have for his people, no one could have met that standard at that time.
Not according to God. God says this is easy for you.
I don't know where you
Like
where you
literally,
get
that's
that
what
idea.
God says. He says these laws are not too hard or far away from you. He's literally telling them keeping these laws should be easy for you.
No, but not too hard or too far, but doesn't mean it's easy. It just means that it's possible, but within.
It means not too hard. It means certainly you can keep these laws. He's like, it's not even that bad. All you got to do is not, unalive people and steal stuff. That should be fairly easy to do. But there's a lot more to it than that in God's case.
Yeah. Hey, but I have to go, but I actually appreciated this conversation. Please do not bring
Yeah, me
Joshua
too.
Bowen when I'm here again. I mean, that guy is just too tough, right?
Yeah, come back. Yeah, this was really good. You were a really good guest,
Yeah.
man. I really appreciate you coming up.
But I did as well, right? So you take care, man.
Yeah, back at you, buddy. Hey, technically that was a win for him because he never said slavery was okay. To me, that's beat me. To me, that's me getting cooked because they didn't actually say slavery was a good thing. So to me, that's a W for the guest there. W for the guest there. Not condoning slavery. Yeah. All right, so let's see who's. I missed the Dougal there.
Hey, buddy.
Dude, you didn't get suspended, did you?
I sure did.
Oh boy, oh boy.
They got me yesterday.
Do you even know why this time, or?
It's the same thing they always say: bullying, harassment.
Oh, yeah.
It is what it is. It's only a 3-day thing.
Yeah, it still sucks though, man. Like,
Yeah, it's all good.
bunch of punks, TikTok.
All good.
Was you doing a religious or political?
I was doing religious, but we had a bonehead who wanted to come up and, first of all, he had a problem with gay people in general, but more specifically trans people. But the biggest problem was he was denigrating gay people. He was like, oh, you guys are just this, that, and the other thing, sin, sin, sin. And then the next thing you know, you realize his profile picture is of him shirtless, pulling down the front of his pants to show off things that women don't particularly care for those kind of pictures. He is catering to gay men. So it was just a big hypocritical thing. He got threatening one of my co-hosts, and then my co-host got dinged, and then the live got bananaed.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a thing.
Oh my God.
What do you do?
I don't know. I really wish YouTube would straighten up a little bit, like make theirs platform like more guest friendly. Like,
Yeah, having to call into another number and stuff is just not. It just doesn't.
yeah, no shit. Put a damn button that says request up. Just Like, what's so hard about that for YouTube? They're rich as shit. Like,
I do want to warn you, you do have somebody in your chat that is a known harasser of women. And he's been at it for a while. I just wanted you to know about that. His name's Bob.
oh, I ain't even paid attention there. Oh, which of the angels? Well, if he wants to request up, we can. Well, really. Yeah, I hadn't been paying attention to the comments, but. Let me see.
His harassment is outside of here, and it might have been in your chat a lot earlier. I just noticed him in there, and then I've got some people telling me about it too. So I just wanted to warn you.
Yeah, I see people hollering. I don't know. Let them get you out there, I guess. I went way back up the thing there, but anyway, if you are a Christian or a Hebrew Israelite, come on up. I still got a little bit of time, so maybe we can get us I like the last guest.
He was nice, but he was worse than pretzel dough in the middle of a tornado and an earthquake at the same time. Like he was. Listen, his arguments fell apart real quick, and then he would twist and turn. Yeah, it was a lot, but it was good.
I don't know. I felt like he was a lot more reasonable than some of them are.
Oh, he's reasonable, yes, but his ability to ignore what was definitive to add a maybe was a bit fishy.
I don't know. I feel like he was somebody we could chip away at. Like,
oh, eventually you're going to get him pinned down. He just had an awful lot of outs.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm okay with that on some levels, but as long as you don't like persist.
Oh yeah, I'm not mad at him for it. I'm just saying it would take a while to pin him down. He would have kept at that for quite a while.
Yeah, it would. I mean, I really don't mind that though. I'll talk to somebody for a while, but as long as it's like a linear conversation, like I'm good with it. I'll talk for 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot more boring sometimes, I guess, for as far as viewership goes. But I mean, that's what we're here for. Sometimes it takes a while, I guess. But I mean, ultimately, I'm here to try to dissolve this religion through deconversion, I guess. So, what else you do? Sometimes it just takes a while. Sometimes it takes a really, really, really long while. Like way longer than we got on the live up here, that's for sure. Man, I hate Doug Gold's account got suspended there. It's such BS, man. TikToks. Man. Like, I get that you have to police certain things that people are saying, but, like, they take it to a ridiculous level.
Oh, yeah, especially when the words that were said were just, like, words like, sir, we can see you're in the closet, and, like, he just, like, and TikTok just didn't like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know why I got suspended the last time. I couldn't figure out exactly what it was. Supposedly they showed you a clip, but it never did anything for me. Like I would try to watch it, but it would never say or actually do anything. So I don't know what it actually was. Getting phone calls. No, not.
Just make sure you try to find yourself an agency, like I told you, because
I got your guy. I got one now.
Okay, good. Because if that happens again and you can't even play the clip to see, he can probably get that reversed because you can't help that you don't know what even happened to happen, to make it go down. So they would probably reverse that one based on just the technical difficulty alone.
Yeah, I asked him about that. He said it's usually 50-50 on whether they'll reverse it or not.
Yeah, he tried to appeal mine last night after I had already appealed it, and they still said no.
Dang it, TikTok. Dang it, TikTok.
It is what it is.
Anyway, if you are a Christian or Hebrew Israelite, I would love to get at least one more conversation in here. Especially now that we got the homeboy here, Dugald. It'd really be fun.
I'm ready to yell at somebody. No, I won't yell.
Oh, wait, here's I think. Hey, Isaac, I saw you in the queue earlier. If you want to request back up, the queue's wide open, buddy. If you're a Christian or Hebrew Israelite and you want to address one of these topics anyway here. Oh, yeah, here he is. Cool.
Oh, the BHIs.
Hey, Isaac.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, man?
How's it going?
Going good, man. Thanks for asking. You were over 18 and a Christian, wasn't you?
Yes, I am. I'm 18 and I'm a Christian.
Cool, man. So which one of the topics you want to talk about here?
I guess probably the third one in particular that says God is cruel and unjust. I just had a question about it.
Sure. What's up?
What exactly do you mean by unjust there?
By unjust, in the case of Yahweh, most specifically, I usually mean he punishes innocent people for the crimes of the guilty, and the punishment never fits the crime. So that's two definitions of injustice.
Okay, but how could somebody be innocent? I'm not really sure on that.
They're innocent because they didn't commit the crime that they were punished for.
No, I mean, like, how what do you mean exactly by innocent? Like, what's your definition there?
They didn't commit the crime that they got the punishment for.
Well, I mean, under a Christian worldview, all of them are guilty of a crime, but I'm asking about your view specifically.
The one they're being specifically charged with.
What'd you say?
Yeah. I don't know how to answer that. I'm answering the question like he's innocent of the crime that he was executed for. I don't know how else to put it.
Well, no, I mean, under the Christian view, all of them, every human is guilty of the sin conditions. So I'm asking about your view specifically. What moral wrong have they not done to be considered innocent by you?
He's telling you they're innocent of the crime they are directly being accused of.
Okay, and how where are you getting that from in Scripture?
2 Samuel 12, in this case, anyway.
Is that the wives of David?
The son of the infant child of David and Bathsheba.
Okay, wait, hold on. I actually have to go. I'm sorry. I'll be back later.
Oh yeah, no worries. Like what? What standard? Like how else should I say that? Like
I don't know. I don't know what just happened.
It sounded like he was just saying the baby was guilty of the crime.
Right. Like, and that's not true. It depends on which denomination of Christianity you're talking about. Some of them do believe in pure innocence.
Yeah, I mean, this baby wasn't David, and the baby certainly didn't commit adultery with Bathsheba. So, I mean, like, how in the world?
Right,
Look, what a strange thing to hear. But then again, that's Christianity for you.
what is your definition of innocence? Like, what the fuck is that? Like,
what are you talking about there, innocent? What does that even mean?
what do I mean?
Like, what? Like, this is really the conversations humans have.
This is why I don't like dealing with the ones who are potential or are Phil bros, because they just like to play definition arguments for like ever, and it's obnoxious.
Kind of is, yeah. Anyway, life before
what
Adam.
would you prefer?
Oh my god.
Yeah, I wanted to know what does your guest prefer?
Are you over 18?
Yes, sir. But I want to know
Hello?
what your guest prefers.
Are you a Christian?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah,
Yes, I
know.
am.
I gotta
Everyone's a
confirm the
Christian.
stuff for TikTok. Okay. I'm not.
I'm not.
No problem. Yeah, but you're an ex-Christian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the same thing.
No, it's not.
No, an ex-Christian stopped being a
Do you know
Christian.
the
They did
moment-
not continue to be a Christian.
Yeah. Yes, I understand, guys. I understand. The point I'm trying to make is that I am trying to give you an angle here, is that the moment you start discussing Jesus, you're playing into the game of Christianity. You're being trolled into Christianity.
No, we're not.
Yeah, because you're discussing
What?
Jesus, even though you don't believe in Jesus, right? The fact that you're negotiating what is this and what is that, you're playing into the narrative.
I'm not negotiating anything. I'm saying what your damn book says. Y'all the ones that try to negotiate it.
I'm the same as you. I half believe and I half don't believe, okay?
Then why are
I
you
know
up
where
here
you're
arguing
coming-
about it?
Because I'm trying to promote Jesus.
Well, I don't care about your promotion of your fictional stupid god. I'm talking about the text and what's up there. I'm up here with what the host has got on the background. Address some of that, please.
Okay, debate a low-tier middle school dropout on atheist. One, Christians don't actually care about context. Okay, that's not true. Context is very important, and God condones slavery. That is conditional. And grape, that is also conditional. And God is cruel, that is conditional. All this stuff is conditional.
How is it conditional?
Okay, which one do you want me to start with?
Pick one.
Slavery.
How
That's
is
a
that
no-brainer.
conditional? How is it conditional?
Okay, if you go to war, this is ancient time. I don't know if it's so much applicable now, but in a sense, it still is. When one nation goes to war against another nation, the nation that loses is going to have to serve the country that wins.
Okay.
In what sense?
Well, it could be drastic. It could be like, it could be more civilized, right? There's going to be different levels depending on the age we live in and the countries that are going at it.
I'm asking you what your point to this is.
Well, the way I look at God is I see God as half good, half evil. So even though I'm a Christian, I am a critic of my God.
Okay. So what are you telling us?
Well, I don't really like to call Jesus God. That's not my thing. Although I will say that if I'm really like in the gutter with somebody. But what I would prefer to say is creator of the universe. I like to keep it very generic. I don't like to be specific to a religion.
Do you disagree with the background then? Like what is happening here? Do you disagree with the background? Or are you just up here telling us what you believe?
Well, I asked AI about what is the double-edged sword of Christianity. Have you ever heard of that? The double-edged sword.
Oh my God.
Okay, Christianity has been used. Okay, here's what I'm trying. I'll lay in my plane. Christianity has been used to do good, and Christianity has been used to do evil. It works. It works on both levels.
And you think that scale is balanced?
You just crash landed.
Right.
It's not that.
You think the scale is balanced?
No, but I think it's like if all the religions are bad, that's the best of all the bad religions.
Wait. No, first of all religions aren't bad. Number one. Number two, you would have to again address the history of the religion and I'm asking you again, do you think the scale is balanced?
It's not balanced when Christianity is used to oppress others.
Which has quite literally been the entire time it's been practiced from beginning to now.
That's not true.
I understand. But he's true and he's wrong. He's right and he's wrong.
Hold on a second. You're just in line there. We'll bring you up in a second. I don't think we're going to get anywhere with life before Adam. So
I like to be generous with atheist people. I don't want to trigger you guys. I want to deal with what you're saying.
I mean, you're not.
The only way you're going to trigger me is not by...
I just think you're having a hard time tracking the conversation.
No, that might not be the right word. I want to be generous in the sense that when you bring me a point about criticism about Christianity, I want to acknowledge it because slavery is wrong. I know Christians will try to gaslight you. That's the word I was looking for.
Wait, so you disagree with God? You think God was wrong for that, right?
Well, I really can't say specifically what God do and doesn't do because I don't know God, but I believe in the concept of a God. I look at Christianity as a vehicle. People use Christianity because they don't know how else to worship a God. A lot of people are just Christians in name only. They may go to church, read a Bible, but they don't agree with what's going on in the text.
Yeah, but you don't agree with it either. You don't agree with slavery.
I don't agree with slavery, but I do acknowledge when militaries go to battle, the side that loses either it gets unalived or they get forced into indentured slavery for however
No, that's not
long.
true. We have international laws against that now.
Yes, I know now we become more civilized, but traditionally, a lot of wars have been fought without international law, right?
True.
That's all
Yeah,
I'm saying.
I'm still trying to figure out what your point is here compared to the background. Like, what do you mean?
I'm just suggesting give God the benefit of the doubt. He may
Benefit of
not
what
be
doubt? He's
everything.
been a monster, and so is his book club for 2,000 years.
Let me
No,
finish my thought.
there's no benefit of the doubt here.
What the Bible says isn't necessarily from a God. It could be written by man.
Then
So
why
trust
believe
in
it at all if you don't know which part was which?
I would say the parts that are useful to you. Hang
None
on
of
to
it's
those
useful
things.
to me.
Well, that's fine. I don't think you need to be a Christian. I think that if you're an atheist, you should live by your best values. Whatever values work for you, keep doing it. I don't want you guys to change. Stay on the path you're
Hey,
on.
we agree with you live before Adam, and I appreciate you coming up, man. But we're really looking for more of a debate thing. But hell, I'll give you a W. If you're saying slavery's bad, that's a W in my book.
Right.
I've been cooked even by the crazy guys. So, Darkwing, now you're on. Are you over 18, and are you a Christian, please?
Yes, no.
You're not a Christian?
No, but I mean, I was hearing what he discussed, and I feel like that's kind of reductionist. The stance that the person under me was taking.
Okay, refute it.
Maybe so.
And so that that would be that that Christianity through its entire inception has all been negative, and that is simply not true and extremely reductionist, because you're taking away all the education that the church brought throughout history through 1,000 years.
It
You're
wiped out and
disregarding,
suppresses education more often
but
than
it's
not.
not
What are you talking
suppressive
about?
education if the
It
first
does. If it
Okay.
denies science and discoveries and things around it that because it goes against their book, then yes, it is not educational. Which
But
is
not all
oftentimes what it did in
but
its
not all the
education
time has it
system,
happened.
especially if you look
Can't
at
take a
U.S.
direct
history, where
stance.
it has the Daughters of the Confederacy who used Christian principles to rewrite how it all went down, rewrite how slavery was, and rewrite all that other stuff.
Right, so you're bringing up the Daughters of Confederacy that
then
are
on
using
top of it,
Christian
you
texts,
have the ones
but then
who
I can
execute
say that
people
Catholic
as a result of it.
okay.
No, listen, stop, dude. Listen.
No, you stop because you're because you are being
God.
reductionist. No, you are being reductionist.
I'm trying to answer the point you made about it, and you don't want to hear it.
Right, because I can equally bring up a group of Christians that have used the
each and every
Christianity
sect of Christianity
beneficial.
since its inception has done quite a lot of these things.
And
you
they
have
also
erased
have done good,
entire
which was
societies,
the point.
cultures. You have oppressed, you have enslaved, you have colonized, you have appropriated, you have stolen. You act like you did not.
I don't think anybody's arguing there's no good at all that came from Christianity. I'm sure they saved a life or two here and there, or built a school and helped somebody out, but it's overshadowed by the immense amount of bad that it's also caused. Like,
right, that's
it's not
the
a good
whole
system
point.
if you have to disregard a whole bunch of evil to get to the good. Like,
right,
not favorable. Anyway, Bob's Day Out. Are you there?
Hey, good morning.
Hey, what's up, buddy? Are you over 18?
Yeah, I'm over 18.
Are you one of the Christians or Hebrew Israelites?
No, I'm a Christian.
Cool, man. So which one of these topics you want to talk with us about?
Well, I mean, I've just been listening to you guys, and I think sometimes as Christians, man, we get so lost in the weeds, and we forget why we're Christians, right? Like we get lost in the weeds of wanting to argue law or argue this covenant or that covenant, and really we're Christians because the law points us that we're not going to be perfect. We're not going to be right. I mean, Doug Gold just brought up a great point that there's been a lot of evil done in the name of Christianity. You know, there's been a lot of terrible things, but it's because that's human nature, right? We're flawed. We're evil by nature. We naturally want to hurt, destroy, colonize, steal, all those things. but I don't
I
think
agree. But
I
my
don't think if
problem
we
with this
point.
whole thing is that you can use this to justify the evil. That's the
Um,
danger in this
I
whole
think
thing.
I think absolutely anybody's going to twist the truth, right? I think anytime we make truth subjective, people are going to twist it. When Jesus says,
Yeah, but
you
you
know,
don't.
I'm
What
the
I'm saying, my problem is you don't have to twist it. Like God gives you outs to do evil. Like He's literally justifying the unjustifiable. Like it says, you
like
can. The
like
South
what?
justified slavery with the Bible.
Yeah, well, I
Biblically,
mean,
it's correct.
well,
God never forbids slavery. According to the Bible, it's perfectly fine for you to have a slave.
well, it actually gives rules. The Bible actually gives rules on how you should treat somebody that's in indentured servitude. It gives
It
rules
just
to the
says you can beat
Jews.
them as long as they don't die within a day or two. But like, if that's treating
Yeah,
somebody good,
yeah.
then
Well, I mean,
whatever. But I mean, to me, there's no good kind of slavery. Like saying he's regulating it to do it right's not a good case because slavery was done how the Bible describes, and it was a horrible and gruesome thing.
um, I don't think that I don't think that whenever we look at, I don't spend a ton of time worried about. Again, I'm not going to spend a ton of time over the minutia of the Old Testament, right? I don't think
Well,
that
that's good for your Christianity, but it's not good
right.
for reality because this is the Old Testament is literally what God is saying himself. God himself talks all through the Old Testament and tells you
Well,
what
yeah,
he
and most
wants, what he
and most
expects,
of
what's
the
good.
most of the Old Testament is the history of the Jewish people, right? It's the history of the Hebrews. So what you find in most of the Old Testament, even in some of the books where you don't necessarily see God working, is you see God saying, "Hey, we have to have regulations." It's kind of like God doesn't want divorce, but the people wanted divorce so much that God gave them rules around how to do divorce. You know,
No, no, no. Well,
um,
hold on. So you're just to be clear, your position is God is allowing them to do things, but God doesn't like it. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, absolutely. That's honestly the whole point of the law is to show that we're flawed. The whole point of the law is to show that we
Well, then
can't
you're
keep the law.
directly going against what God himself said about the law.
Well, I mean, no
Because
man can
God
keep the
says
law.
this law, keeping this law is perfect. It's what's doing good and right in his sight. And you will
Right.
keep these laws all the days that you live on the earth. So God is saying these laws are great and they are for all time. So
No,
God does not give
I think
laws that he
I
does
think
not
that's
like.
correct. But it also proves that man on their own can't keep the law. That's why we needed a
They
savior,
can't
right?
keep the law. There is righteous people in the Bible. You know that, right?
There's no one perfect. In the Bible it explains that no one's perfect.
Yes there is. Yeah, oh yes there is. There's several people in the Bible that it says were perfect at keeping the law.
That
Job was
were
one of them.
well, it says
Zechariah, Elizabeth, that says
Job
all
was
these lived
righteous.
perfectly according to the commands, and
Right.
that's what being righteous is.
But let's go to the hall of faith, right? So it says by faith, right? So again, even if you're going back to the law, if you're looking ahead towards Jesus, there was still faith in a coming resurrection. There was still faith in something more to happen. That's why animal sacrifice doesn't happen anymore, right? Is because the faith was that, hey, yes, we're killing this animal now. There's a blood sacrifice because there's going to be a perfect blood sacrifice that ultimately abolishes all this.
Well, that's what
But
Paul
Well,
says.
yeah,
the
that's what
law,
God nor
Christians
Jesus
believe,
ever
but
says anything like that.
yeah, the
Yeah.
Israelites didn't believe that. The Messiah was not based on a blood sacrifice. The Messiah
oh,
was a different thing to them, and
well, I understand
they're
that.
doing what they're
The
supposed to be doing.
The Jews will not teach Isaiah 53. They leave it in their Bible, but they won't teach Isaiah 53 because if you read Isaiah
They
53,
do teach Isaiah
it,
53.
it has to be
It comes up
Jesus.
all the time. Like literally, my favorite rabbi is Tovia Singer. And to be fair, I have no idea why he's simping for Tucker Carlson so hard, but that's beside the point. But he talks about Isaiah 53 all the time. Like,
Right. So, but what I'm
yeah.
saying
They don't think
is,
this is about Jesus.
well, of course not, because they're looking for a political figure. They're looking for a figure that's going to come
Well, of course
destroy
not, because
kingdoms
it's
and
not
smash.
contextual. It doesn't
No,
match the language. It doesn't match the context. Nothing about this is about Jesus.
right.
This only seems like it's about Jesus if you only read a few lines from Isaiah 53. If you read anywhere else, it makes perfect contextual sense to what it's actually talking about.
A lot of the prophecies from the Old Testament that Christians believe are prophecies aren't actually prophecies to Jewish people or to them
This is
back
one of them.
then either.
Well, I mean, that's okay. They're allowed to be wrong, right? Like,
it's their religion. To call them wrong seems really crazy.
Y'all are allowed to be wrong too.
They're the ones who source this. Like, it seems a little crazy to call the source material wrong.
Well, I'm not saying
that's
the source
like
material. I'm not saying the source material is wrong.
Say you wrote a book about your thoughts in your mind, right? And then I read your book and I said, "Hey, you're wrong about your own book you wrote. This is the truth about it." That's literally what you're doing here.
Well, they didn't write the book though. That's just it. Is you're talking?
No, but they're the ones who read it and
preserved for
interpret
thousands of years.
But without them, you would not know what it says because they're the ones who interpret it. The Old Testament.
They did write it. It's written from their perspective.
Literally their language, their culture, their whole society. Like, what do you mean?
No, I agree with you. But that doesn't mean that they didn't miss the boat whenever it comes to Jesus.
No, it means that what you're saying about the Old Testament is incorrect, though, because you're saying there's things in there that Christians say are prophecies that are not prophecies, based on the people who wrote the book.
Well, no, you're basing it on a modern take on the people that wrote the book, right?
No, this has been their language since forever.
Well,
I don't understand what part of
historical context.
That's why you see them raise up in the New Testament and multiple times want to stone Jesus, because Jesus claims to be equal with God. Right?
No, it's because Jesus was blaspheming. He was the one going against what Jewish people were teaching at the time as far as the messianic figure.
Right, because they weren't looking for a Jesus type. They were looking for a political leader.
No, they were looking for the Messiah based on their prophecies.
Yeah. And the reason they didn't think it was Jesus was because he did not fit the description. Like, why would you read a prophecy about a warrior king and then some poor guy rides up on a donkey saying he's this warrior king when he's never fought a battle and he's not a king?
And he can't even show his lineage.
At a joke.
Right, and he can't even show his lineage to David. And never sat on the throne of David as it was commanded in the prophecies he would do.
Well, I mean, some of those things you're going, second coming versus first coming. That's two different things.
These are the direct. There is literally no throne of David for him to sit on if he were to return, and he never sat on one before he left.
Yeah, it's a pretty big problem.
There's literally no throne of David. Right now, there's literally no throne of David to sit on.
No, well, there's also no third temple yet either. So, I mean,
there's no throne going to be built.
I'm just going to throw it all out because there's not a throne.
Sir, he's not of the line of David.
Let's stick on something we can... Well, hold on. Let's sit on something we can peg down we've already talked about here. So, is context and actual words and definition and language important to you?
Yes.
Okay, so let's read a sentence from Isaiah 53, and you tell me if this seems like it supports Jesus or not, and then we'll break it down. It says, "But he was wounded for our transgression, crushed for our iniquities." So do you think that sounds like it's about Jesus?
Sure.
Okay, well, it says, "But he was wounded for our transgressions." This doesn't say he will be wounded for our transgressions. It says he was wounded for. This is talking about something that's already happened.
Yeah, prophecies
using past tense language.
Yeah, prophecies predict the future. They don't make proclamations about the current events.
I think it's important whenever we look at that sometimes we view how these people were viewing it, right? So if you have a prophet or a seer, sometimes they're going to talk about things in modern context. Sometimes they're going to talk about things in past tense. Sometimes they're going to talk about things in future tense. But it's all about how they're viewing
something
it.
That's going to happen in the future by referencing something that's already happened. Like, you wouldn't understand me if I did that.
Yeah,
if I told you there was a guy who was wounded, you would not take that as somebody will be wounded later, would you?
Yeah, their prophets were very, a lot of Christians make this weird thing where they try to make the prophecies more complicated than they are. The prophecies were very direct. If they were talking about a current event, they use present tense verbiage. When they were talking about future events, they specifically use future tense. And then they differentiated between proclamations and prophecies. They differentiated between a general proclamation and a prophecy.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can agree to disagree on that. I'm not gonna argue that further. with you because, I mean, here's the thing. If you're willing to jump into a word and say, man, I'm not going to believe this because of a specific word, then, faith just, I mean, maybe faith's not for you, right?
Faith is useless. It doesn't lead you to
No.
truth. It can be used for literally anything. It's no different than imagination.
Oh, no. Well,
Yeah,
I think,
and
I
I
think
asked
it,
you,
I think
I
it
said,
requires,
is context and language and definition
yeah, I think,
important?
I
And
think
you
it
said
requires,
yes. So when this is using past tense language, why would you take it as a prophecy if the context and the language is important? Because you're disregarding both of those.
prophecy can be dropped into a lot of different things. I mean, you see it even in Proverbs where, I think it's Proverbs 28 or 27 says, what is his son's name?
So
That's dropped in the middle of a thing where it's a prophecy about Jesus.
No.
700 years.
You can't just say it's dropped in the middle of a thing and take something out of context. This is what you guys always accuse people of doing, is taking things out of context. But you guys literally do it all the time to make Jesus work. If he is just a sentence in there that happens to resemble a little bit of Jesus' story from the Old Testament, mind you, written before Jesus, which means the people who wrote Jesus' story could have easily made him sound like that. What I'm saying is, you can't just say the middle of this paragraph just because it sounds a little bit like Jesus means they're talking about Jesus all of a sudden in the middle of a paragraph. What is Isaiah about? Who are they talking to? What is happening when this sentence is said?
That's fair take. I mean, I'm not gonna blame you for having that take.
Well, I mean, you said context and wording is important, so I think taking the totality of the context of Isaiah is pretty important here.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna say it's not a fair take for you, but I mean, to me, that doesn't null my faith.
Well, I mean, we're not necessarily asking it to annul your faith, but I mean, like, I would think, like, if you're being intellectually honest, you could address the way the words are being used here. All through Isaiah 53, this is about something that's already happened. It's not saying this is about a guy and it's going to happen 500 years from now. This is saying this has already happened. It's using past tense language.
Because how would the average uneducated Israelite reading this pick out in the middle of everything about a story that's happening, an actual narrative that's going on, pick a random sentence out of it and be like, oh, they're talking about something in the future, when they're not even talking in future tense?
I mean, good point, but most of them weren't literate anyway, so we don't have common.
But they were being read
literacy till way
to. These
later.
things were
Right.
being told to them.
Exactly. Exactly. That's why I said, if I'm reading this to you and I said, hey, this guy was wounded for our transgressions, there is no chance you're going to take that as a prophecy about something that will happen. You just heard me say somebody was wounded. You're going to think somebody was wounded. Not
And that was
this is a
fitting in the
prophecy
narrative
about
of the
future.
story of the time. That had, like, it's kind of like saying that when Harry Potter talks about an evil mastermind, that somehow that makes it connected to Spider-Man, because Spider-Man also mentions an evil mastermind. That doesn't correlate. They're talking about a specific thing. That sentence fit the narrative of the story because that's what they were talking about.
Yeah,
Like-
the actual context of Isaiah, the one who was wounded was Israel. Like in Isaiah 48, verse 20, it says, go out from Babylon. This is what it's about. It says, go out from Babylon, flee from Chaldea. It's talking about the exiles leaving Babylon. It says, declare this with a shout of joy, proclaim it, send it forth to the end of the earth. Say the Lord has redeemed his servant Jacob. It's literally calling the servant that is talking about Jacob. It's saying he's redeemed, and the servant is leaving Babylon. This makes perfect contextual sense that this is talking about Israel leaving Babylon during exile. That's all it's talking about, and it's a past tense event. It makes perfect contextual sense.
I mean, that's a take you can have. I don't think it's the correct take.
How
I think
would-
it is a
It's what
prophecy.
it
Answer my
says,
question.
man. I
How-
literally just read it.
How would an Israelite of the time take that to mean the Messiah? How is that a messianic prophecy to the people that wrote this, that are supposed to be looking
I think
for
in
it?
some cases, I mean, and now here's the thing. Here's the hard part, right? The hard part is we're arguing spiritual things with carnal minds, and some things do take the Holy Spirit to understand.
So yet
And-
again, we're going to talk about this magic decoder ghost that somehow makes the word mean other
I
words.
agree with you. If you don't experience it and you haven't had it,
So do the words
I
magically
agree.
mean something else to you because you have it? Like when you read these words, they take on a completely, literally different meaning, or do the words physically change in front of your eyes?
They
Because
could
you're
possibly.
trying to communicate a thing that nobody can see and verify based on the words you're using, but we do have the words you're supposed to be referencing, and they don't say what you were saying.
Well, I think again, in context, we can see that Jesus does what is explained in those verses, right? We can
No,
see all
he doesn't. It's not talking about
2020.
Jesus didn't
Jesus.
leave Babylon, man. Jesus wasn't redeemed from Babylon.
Man.
And Jesus isn't Jacob. You know that, right?
Yeah, I would have to get into some other things in order to get into that. But I mean, here's the thing. I know I'm not going to convince you. I know I'm not going to convince you. I mean, I don't want to argue out of a way that's not in love, not the right thing to do. But
I don't think you're
appreciate your
arguing about
time.
faith.
Well, when you go out in the
No, I
world,
mean-
please stop proselytizing. That's all I can ask, because you all don't even have a way to explain this nonsense without some magical shit you can't prove. So please leave everybody else
Well, I mean,
alone with it.
that's what faith is, right?
No,
I mean,
faith is nonsense. Again, faith
but you
is
have-
about
just
your
an emotion,
imagination.
man. Like-
It's something
So,
you
I
cannot
mean,
prove. Stop
you have
forcing
faith,
it
right?
on other people. Stop forcing it on other people.
you have
Until
faith,
you
don't you,
can
Douglas?
prove this God exists, go out into the world
but-
and do good things,
yeah,
but
but
leave
Douglas,
people alone.
Don't you have faith?
No, not in anything. I don't need faith. I have trust in the things I know to be true.
So, I mean, all right, question. How'd the universe begin?
Oh my fucking God. I'm not talking about that, because even if you debunk that, it still does not prove your God nor your specific God. Until you can do that, leave other people alone.
But we're both we're both
Leave
proselytizing.
people alone. That's all. It's simple respect. Leave other people alone. Leave your religion at home with you and in your church. Leave other people alone. Do good.
I mean, I don't think I've done anything to offend you, have I?
It's not about that. You all don't leave people alone. You all force this shit on people. My request is, when you go out and do these good works, stop pushing it on people when you do it.
Who have I forced it on?
Do you vote with this stuff in mind?
It doesn't mean you specifically, Bob.
Okay.
And
He's
do
just
you,
talking about Christianity in general and
Right.
history.
but keep that in
that's
mind,
what
though,
they-
when you vote and when you proselytize, you are forcing. So again, when you go out into the world, don't force it on people. That's all.
So, I mean, don't we vote our conscience?
You vote your conscience on not harming people. You don't vote against people because your religious view says you don't like it. There's a difference.
Yeah, especially based on emotion. That'll always go bad. If you're basing your actions and decisions on irrational positions, then you're going to make irrational decisions about them.
And people suffer the consequences of that. So please, again, leave your
Exactly.
religion at home.
Well, love you guys.
Have a good one, buddy. Here, I'll jump you back there. Yeah,
I didn't think that was an unreasonable request.
that's why I made this a topic. They don't actually care about the context. If you ask them the question if they care about it, it's going to be a resounding, oh yeah, of course we care about the context. But when you actually read the context, flee from Chaldea,
They're like, well,
servant is Jacob redeemed, it doesn't necessarily mean that, what it's saying there.
maybe, kind of, sort of.
Well, you atheists got a good point, but you don't have any faith. Like,
Right. You don't have my magic decoder ghost that says that word means something else.
exactly, yeah. Okay, yeah. Oh boy, oh boy. Anyway, let me see where we're. Who we got? Oh, Miss Jerry's in the queue there. Oh, and Darkwing. He wasn't let's see. Tell you what, man, we'll see. Dang it. Guess my thumb is as fat as it should be. Say hi to Jerry real quick. I'm not sure if we'll grab another. Well, we'll give it a few minutes, see if we get somebody else in here screwed on a little bit.
Hey, Dugo.
What's up, Miss Jerry?
Hey.
Hey.
What's
Hey,
up?
I loved it when you said, just leave your religion at home.
That's all I want people to
Until
do.
you can find evidence for it, leave it at home.
Right. When you go out into the world and you vote and you do the things, don't vote with your Jesus goggles. We don't need it. It's not helping anybody. All it's causing is harm.
It is causing harm. That's the thing. It's not just like they're just not bothering people if they don't say things. It's causing a lot of harm and wars to this very day.
Christian
I mean,
nationalism.
Yeah. Christian nationalism
Yeah.
has been born of it. Yep.
Yeah.
So
Not to
every
mention-
step forward that, progress, we make progress, the resistance comes in and we make 10 steps back. So that's why we're not further along in our society.
No, because they repress it. That's my point. When we talk about when they say things like, well, we gave you education and some science, and I'm like, no, it's not you that did that. It was certain people, and you guys oftentimes suppress or admonish or excommunicate or even unalive those people throughout the centuries.
Yeah.
So, what are you talking about?
And just all the knowledge that we just completely obliterated when we, came over here to America and thought, oh, we'll just take the land. We'll just, what happened. Just think of all the education we just erased. That took them decades.
The crazy
to learn.
part is we took it, and then the people we took it from are now Christians arguing they're Israelites.
Yep. Isn't that crazy?
How weird is reality, man? Like, humans are crazy.
Israeli supremacy is worse than white supremacy. I mean, it's the worst.
Well, Israeli supremacy hasn't spread itself across the globe like white supremacy has yet. So I'm not sure it's quite worse yet, but it is on a high trajectory for it.
I feel like they're kind of intertwined.
Yeah, I mean, at some point there's going to be the two people out there. That's what they're working on. But
I think now they're walking hand in hand. It seems like they're holding each other's hands, skipping along.
Native American cultures get blamed for quote unquote being uncivilized, the S word that I hate, the SAV word, like all that kind of thing. And then come to find out they had a way of agriculture that was not only beneficial, but it replenished the where they grew it from. And it didn't make it was not a problem for the environment in which they did it. We lost that knowledge. The vast majority of it, because Christianity spreads itself like a cancer and it absorbs and twists, mutates, or exterminates knowledge that it comes across because it is oftentimes related to other cultures' religions when it gets there.
So they kind
the
of
Romans
keep
started
their,
it that way. The Romans started it that way, and Christianity just ran with it after the Romans were finally out of control of it. That was still the mindset in all the Christian sects thereafter.
So the other aspect of what y'all were talking about with the past couple of guests was that, whenever they bring up, whenever they switch over to, well, where did everything come from? And, and you're like, okay, now here we go back again. They want to go to what we don't know. But, whenever they say that, humanity is evil, like man is evil, I don't really agree with that. I don't think we're born that way.
We're not.
I think when people
we're all
that
bad,
are,
I guess, good and bad, but mostly good.
Yeah. So when you raise your child, okay, you can only get them to the maturity level that you're at, the emotional maturity level that you're at. And if you give your child everything that they want all the time and they suffer no consequences for any of their actions, they're going to become entitled, right? So when those kind of people get into power, they oppress other people to get their way because they are emotionally immature. And that's what makes people seem evil, because they're in defense mode. And of course they're going to fight. Okay. That's all they have left. But I think people are generally born with compassion and a caring, loving attitude. You go to kindergarten classes and they have all the, things on the wall. What do you want to be when you grow up? And it's never, it's always to help people, to be a doctor, to be a fireman. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. I think religion
They-
pollutes that.
Empathy and critical thought are what really drive most of our moral systems. If we and they are very much like any other thing. If you don't exercise them, they can be lost. Well, not lost, but greatly diminished and weak. Or they can be suppressed by other influences. When you look at religion, it's often dogmatic, and dogma is inherently going to suppress empathy, right?
So are you saying that it by dogma are you dogmatic? Are you saying it has to oppress the a certain? It has to oppress people in order to get its message across.
No, it suppresses their empathy. So basically, when you have things like apologetics, forgiving a God for doing a heinous thing, and also trying to live by the law that God says not to do said heinous thing, you're suppressing a level of empathy because you're apologizing for God, but ignoring what the God did to the people who didn't deserve said thing. You know what I mean? Like when we're talking about raping women, that was a law. He was like, you can do it. It's fine. But that means you're ignoring or suppressing empathy naturally from the start to let the God be good in that scenario and ignore the fact that a woman was great or would be great.
So Christianity dehumanizes you.
Yeah, it dehumanizes a lot of people.
Or at
Because they
least
can
trains
say, well,
you
God
not to pay
said,
attention to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why when you look at, for example, all churches have what's called I can't say it on TikTok, but SA insurance, because they can't stop with the little kids, you know? That almost every church that I can think of has SA insurance, right? Congregations ignore what these priests do, and oftentimes those priests or pastors or preachers or whatever the case may be get shifted to other congregations and replaced, and nobody says anything. Or I've seen ones where congregations forgive the man, ignore the pain of the people that it happened to, and pray over that man and still let him be their pastors.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So it
Robert Morris was
dehumanizes.
one of those people.
Yeah.
Like he was just moved around, and they had every opportunity to see his background, and they still hired him, and look what he did.
Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. So when you have this type of dogmatic thinking that instills in you that certain people are just naturally lesser, or some people's plight just should be ignored in favor of what you would call the bigger picture, quote unquote, it naturally stifles that empathy, and then that leads to less empathetic people. That's why so many people who are conservative tend to also be Christians, because that's usually a party that doesn't care what happened. Like, for example, what's happening with immigration. You see all the people getting attacked and pulled by their arms, pregnant women being pulled by their arms in the street and all this stuff. And they're like, yeah, get them because they're illegals. They're seeing a moral high ground is they're illegal, so it doesn't matter what happens to them, ignoring the unjust things actually happening to the people.
Not to mention, if they're perfectly legit, they're still going to do it.
Yeah, and they've been promised immunity for it too.
Divine manifestation. They have a divine right to commit their atrocities.
Well, the people doing it get the immunity, but I'm talking about the people watching it happen who are like, yeah, because those people are illegal, I'm okay with what I'm seeing.
Yeah. Because they hate.
Think about how sinister
deep down
really
inside
is
they
too,
hate those
because,
people.
Yep.
Exactly. Like it's training you to turn a blind eye to the worst kind of atrocities, like bashing babies' brains out and having women raped and taking slaves. Yeah. Who cares? It's just something that happens, It's just people being mean. But it also trains you that God uses these horrible people for his own purpose. So you literally take the worst motherfucker you can think of, and that's just somebody God's using. Like, so yeah, let's just trust this guy who's a child rapist and murderer because God's using him, right? Like,
yeah.
It's literally
that's why Trump's up here. They're like, oh, God uses these imperfect people to accomplish his shit, and then turn around and also says you'll know them by their fruits. So, like, which one is it?
Like, for example, the transatlantic slave trade, that was a papal decree.
Yeah.
That was the Pope saying, yes, go get those people, enslave them, take them to the New World, and spread Christianity to them and the people that you're going to go conquer over there with them.
Absolutely.
And then you have
There was-
Christians today saying it was a good thing because look, we gave Native Americans Christianity. Meanwhile, we're still finding children's graves
Wow.
in Native American children's graves in those boarding schools that were set up for them.
Yeah, all you got to do is make it past a generation.
that
You can conquer
is
and convert
horrifying.
somebody, and within a generation or two, they will have forgotten how they got converted, and all of a sudden, it's just Jesus is the way.
And that's what's happening
Happens
now.
every time. Yeah.
You have a ton of the Native American population currently and the black population who are all Christians, and they debate Christianity with their fellow Native Americans and other people in the black community, and they're outward. Like they've taken on the God of the oppressor.
Yeah.
Well,
like,
and it's
how
out of
can-
fear, right? Because the whole teaching is that you're going to die for your sin if you don't. and,
Indoctrination.
Yeah. So
That's
you're
exactly
living in
right.
fear, and then you think, "Oh,
Yeah, it's
I'm
just
going to
time.
just."
Like the.
Yeah,
I'm not
indoctrination and
point a sword
time.
at somebody and say believe this, and they're not going to do it. But by the time they have a couple generations of kids, they're going to forget all about the sword that was in their face.
Yep,
And then all of a sudden, it's just
that's life.
the right religion. Yeah. And pretty soon, you got them straight up thinking they're conquerors for converting them, for saving them
I mean, think about
from
the
the evils
various
they were. Because
people that follow this religion. What number one, white people, any European country. This is not their native religions.
Right.
Even though we've been the ones in power over this religion for about 1,500 years, and we've been using it to beat the fuck out of people with. But ultimately, though, it still was not our native religion as Europeans. Black people, it most certainly wasn't their native religions. They had all various religious, just like Native Americans. Each tribe, each peoples, each nation had their own religious set of spirits or deities or whatever the case may have been. Like, none of this is natural to any of the people that currently worship it, except for the Christians that live in the Middle East. They're literally the only ones that would be native to this, technically.
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Yep.
The sword, indoctrination.
What a horrible thing. Like,
Yeah.
desensitize you. It trains you to be desensitized to violence and atrocity. It trains you to serve someone who's committing violence and atrocity.
That's why
And
Trump's so
also-
popular.
That you're doing the right thing the whole time.
Right. But the only way you can do that is to keep them from learning the real history and real truth about how the religion got to where it's at today.
Which is
Once you
why,
look at that, you can never go back. I
Right.
can't.
if you look at the percentage of priests, pastors, preachers, deacons, bishops, all these people who claim to be, leading congregations out there in the various denominations, most of them, I can't remember the exact number. I know it's somewhere near 80 or over 80%, aren't even read up on the Bible. Like, they've never read it, not completely. They've had no
Great reason
formal
to be a
training in
Christian,
it.
because
They've
you
had right.
never
they've-
even read the book.
no history lessons, no Hebrew, no Greek, no formal training on the Bible itself. Literally, just have read it themselves and determined that they are going to run a church, and they join a church,
Yeah.
and then they indoctrinate those group of people into whatever it is that they've taught themselves about this book.
And they're going to get people in there because people want community. They want to belong somewhere.
Yep.
And
When all
then-
they really need to do is just have community with the people around them. They don't. If they would let go of all these bigotedness and prejudices and racisms and all these things, they could easily make community right around themselves and never need
Yeah.
this stuff.
Yeah. I love my neighbors. I've just kind of met them being out in the yard working and seeing them walk their dogs and just say hi. And sometimes they stop and come over. And when I have a get together, that's who I invite. I love them.
Have you ever considered enslaving them?
No, that thought never crossed my mind.
Oh,
See,
Oh well, shit.
Yeah.
Maybe you had read the Bible.
It says you can do that if you want to. Just let me know.
Right.
Especially
You know,
for
and
foreigners.
and to your point earlier, where they say, the people that were doing these atrocities were, felt like they were justified because they had authority or whatever to do it. Don't you think some of them are like, this is wrong? Like we shouldn't. Like, don't you think their conscience just kind of gets to them
Yeah.
at some point and says this can't be right?
That's what happened to my mom. She hated being a Christian, like how she had to act when she was a Christian. She
Hmm.
couldn't stand it. It just went against her nature completely because my mom is just not the typical judgmental Christian. Like, it's just not her. Like, everybody loves her. She's not judgmental at all. Like, it's just not in her. So she didn't like it at all the whole time. But she did it for a long time anyway.
So she left Christianity before you did?
Yeah, we kind of deconstructed independently of each other, coincidentally. Just kind of happened.
Oh, that's cool.
She was the one that indoctrinated me. But yeah, she thought about it. I think she said she deconverted because she essentially didn't believe that, like, the Old Testament, like Genesis and stuff, was literal, right? And then one day she just happened to be reading in Romans, and Paul, like, he did take it literally. So she thought, if I have to think of this literally, then there's no way, because this can't literally make any sort of sense. You know what I'm saying? So I guess that's ultimately what deconverted her, was the New Testament taking the Old Testament literally.
Yeah. Yeah, the first story in the Bible that I started questioning was the flood. Because my oldest son was saying, come on, you can't get two of every animal on a boat from all over the world and populate the earth with 8 people. And
Now,
like,
did
wow,
you
that
know?
You
makes
consider
sense.
taking up stones against them?
Did you know they actually built a replica of that
No.
boat based on its description on how
Oh,
they
my
built
goodness.
it? And that sumbitch, it leaks. Yeah, they
They
built
tried to
it.
rebuild it.
They built it based on the specifications in the Bible, and I'll be damned if that sumbitch didn't leak.
Yeah, and they
Well,
use
they
the
must not have
best
had the
modern
Holy
shipbuilders
Spirit
in the
then.
world to do
They
it.
didn't have the Holy Spirit tar.
They didn't pray
Oh,
enough.
my goodness.
Have it with them.
The real problem is they couldn't find biblical bitumen, is what the problem was. You just can't get that these days.
Yeah, I grew up in
So,
Kentucky,
yeah.
and that's where they built it. It's called the Ark Adventure. They basically built a replica of it, and it got flooded one year.
Concrete.
Sure did.
Oh, I've thought about going to
That's
that
a-
exhibit that they try to get people to come see and just start asking them questions.
That thing
I
cost
almost went one time, but I heard it was like super loud in there, and like I just can't stand
loud
the
noise.
loudness, man. Like,
I've
I hate
never
that
been
shit.
to it. I can't bring myself to do it. That sumbitch costs so much money to build, and I cannot bring myself to give it more money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that would be the ethical
Yeah,
problem
it
there.
costs so many millions to build that stupid thing.
So I said it's an Amish cruise liner. That's exactly
Basically.
That was a good one, poor dude. Yeah. That's
That's
what you remember. Did
hilarious.
y'all watch when Bill Nye went in there with him, with Ken Ham?
Oh my god, it was cracking me the fuck up. Oh, that was so
Bill Nye
funny.
straight up said it. He goes, "This looks like a modern Amish workshop." And Ken Ham goes, "Yeah, it was Amish people that built it." Like, yeah, no
Good
shit.
idea.
Like, no wonder it looks exactly like a modern Amish workshop.
Like, these people, I swear to God.
Oh yeah, Bill Nye took it too, him boy. I mean, he put it down on him.
Because he kept looking at everything like, what the fuck is going on?
Like, you weren't there. You weren't there. It was kind of cool because you could tell he was like trying to be like really cordial too, but also kind of like press him on the bullshit. So he's kind of trapped in between. Like, you could see that look on his face the whole time.
That's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to try to be, nonchalant about it.
I like how he tried to actually educate the kids on the real stuff. He's like, children, this is kind of bullshit. See, what actually happens is.
This
And then Kim Hammond's like, hello now, Sid. Hello now.
Let's talk
Now,
about
hold up
all the
with
people
Jesus.
on the outside of the boat that drowned. All the dark humor he could bring in.
my whole thing about it
Oh,
is
man.
like, imagine they believe like a walrus had to tusk itself across the desert. Imagine that. Chomping its face against the sand to get across to get on his boat.
Right.
Pulling
Well, that's
itself
the
with
way,
its
like,
tusks across the sand.
like we now there's a whole lot more world than there was at the time. Like when they wrote that, they would have just been encompassing like the Middle East was the entire world. So they were actually thinking of like every planet in the world that was actually just what they knew around them. They weren't considering there's a whole half of a planet over here that nobody knew about or nothing like that. So it just makes it even more ludicrous in reality with what we know now. It just goes to show you that they didn't have any knowledge that wasn't outside of the knowledge that they had. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
And when they first told the story, was it meant to be fiction?
I think they thought it was literal.
They thought it was literal.
I think that
they did.
depends. Some, like, if you talk to Jewish people today, they'll tell you they knew a lot of these were just stories, much like Greek people knew that a lot of their God stories were just that, stories. But even though they think the figures were still real, they didn't necessarily believe that, they literally had monsters like Medusa or something like that. You know what I mean? Some made, but then some did. It literally, I think it's going to depend wholly on those people at that time, and we'll never really know.
That's probably true. I think it makes sense to think they did think it was literal. If they were using this to explain reality, I don't see why they wouldn't have taken it literally as a creation narrative. You know what I mean? Like, so, but I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
and just
know. There was
embellished
two
it
of them
over the
too, so
years.
who
Like,
knows?
I
Yeah.
think if we could fill in the gaps of well, I guess we kind of have. So yeah, you're probably right. Because, like, for example, the whole Levitical law about being gay, that's not even what they're actually talking about then, and they would have known that back
Oh,
over
yeah.
there too. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
You're probably
Yeah,
right.
like I said, I don't know. I think you can logically frame it both ways, but I mean, to me, it makes sense that this is how they explained the world back then. You know what I mean? So why not say this is how they was explaining it, literally?
I might be willing
Yeah.
to say that for the Old Testament, but I'm not so sure about that as the new. For the new,
You mean thinking it
I
was
think that's
literal?
more of a political thing. I think the New Testament's mostly politics.
Oh, yeah, that's totally possible.
yeah, because the Romans were in desperate need for the Jews to comply, right?
Yeah, they were unruly people their entire history. That's why they gave them a lot more autonomy than a lot of other people had, because they didn't want them rebelling. But
Look,
that did mean that they wouldn't do the unthinkable, obviously, if they pushed them to that point. But they did give them a lot of leeway because they knew they were fighters and they would rebel.
I
mean,
think
they probably had a lot of other shit going on. You don't want people rebelling from within when you got 10 outside sources you got to worry about.
Yeah.
so. I guess I question the literal part of it, though, still, only because Jewish people at the time, or were Hebrews at the time, they knew they weren't really stuck in the desert for 40 years, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Like, they never were. So, like, they would have known that was just a story.
It almost seems logical to think
maybe
that
it just depends on the people. Like maybe there was groups that thought it was literal and groups that didn't. I mean, that would make sense too.
Maybe it depends on when it was written down versus when it was first told. Some might have thought it was a story, and some might have thought it was literal. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
they
complicated.
just embellished it over the years.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I think Paul certainly thought it was literal. Yeah.
I know Paul did, but Paul was just, like I said, I think Paul was politics.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. So I mean, I don't know. Paul might not even have been a real person. Like,
Yeah,
might have been the
It's a pretty good chance of that, actually.
Yeah, the scales are
No.
tipping in that direction, right?
Seems to be.
I mean, I think so. Like, it's still a pretty large majority of scholars who think Jesus was historically real, but that seems to be like
It's
on the
getting more and more
decline.
debated. It's getting more and more contested.
Uh-huh.
And like a lot of the scholars, it's like Christ before Jesus. If y'all watch him,
Oh yeah, watch them all the time.
like it, well, he says the scholars say to him like stuff like, "Oh, this message is just based on computer and math and stuff." And I mean,
Well, his
on the
is
face of it, yeah, I think you can kind of feel like that, but at the same time, like computers are way better at humans than doing this kind of stuff.
Well,
so I mean,
his-
why not trust a computer even though it's not a brain? You know what I mean?
his their entire model is basically comparing the writings, and if they match enough, then you can attribute it to being the same author, and then you can start dating it based on how the language is used.
Right.
So, for example, like at one point, Jesus is referred to as a rabbi, but that technically shouldn't be possible because rabbis weren't really a thing. That word wasn't really a thing until well after Jesus had already died, like a decade after he had already died. So
Right.
it's kind of an anachronism to say that he was a rabbi because that wasn't even a word for him at the time.
Right.
So it all just depends. And some of them they found, like, for example, like I think is it Mark, Luke, and John that they're copies of each other. Is it Mark, Luke, and John, or is it Luke?
Oh, Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Yeah.
Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Yeah, they're all like almost verbatim copies of each other, just with some random additions therein, so they can tell that most of them were authored by the same person because they're like exact copies.
So
Yeah, if I'm
I wonder
understanding
what
him
the
right, he's
point
saying a
was.
computer is showing that no writing came up from Paul until like 144 or something. He
Yeah,
said,
it was pretty long
according to the
after.
computer.
My friend Beezy goes over this a lot too. He's really knowledgeable on this stuff. He talks about it. There are also people like love to cite like Tacitus and all that when it come to find out like and Jaron talks about it too. Like they didn't really talk about them the way that everybody thinks they do. Like they mention Christians, they don't really mention Jesus. At one point, there's an interpolation added to their writings, which means that they never mentioned Jesus. Somebody else did and just added it to that person's writings.
Right.
Like,
Well, I mean, wouldn't a computer be better at analyzing that though than a human? Like, I mean, that's how I feel. Like, that's why I think this, what do you call it, stellometry?
yeah,
I think that there's a lot of relevance to that if a computer's the one figuring this out, because obviously a computer
Yeah.
can do a calculation better and more unbiasedly than a human can,
I have his
as long
book.
as it has the right information.
I have his book. It's pretty decent. It's. I mean, it makes sense in what it says. I get it.
I mean, some of it, like the rabbi thing, like since most of the writings came along way later, I can picture somebody else just rewriting it later
And
calling
adding
it
the word
rabbi.
rabbi,
To me,
maybe.
that's not
But-
that big of a deal. You know what I mean?
Right. But
But,
that's just one of them. He gives like a bunch of examples, especially in his book, and you can tell
Yeah,
it's kind of
that's
like
what I'm saying. A
cool.
lot of them is really compelling to me, especially the computer stuff, because it's like a welding machine. Like a human will never be able to weld as precisely as a machine designed especially for that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying I feel like a calculator is going to do a better math than a human will.
That's why
Well, I mean, it's mostly data, so
his whole premise
Yeah,
is
exactly.
basically Jesus wasn't real. It was made up by a cult led by a man named Marcion, who also made up Paul and used Paul as a pseudonym to write those letters back and forth to churches to reform them in the way that he wanted.
So
I
that's
ain't
why
got
it's
no
so different.
rebuttal.
Yep, and he used Jesus as the central figure to it because they had all those cults that were looking at Jesus and part of Jesus, so they, as a way to bring them all into the fold, wrote those letters.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And I can't argue with a damn bit of it either. Like I can't think of the first thing to rebut that. Like, not realistically.
Nope, because from what I
Yeah.
can tell, there are letters that respond to Paul from those churches, but they're not. It's not conclusive proof that Paul was Paul. It's just, to me, looks like people responding to Marcion himself under the pseudonym of Paul. The surname of Paul. Certainly.
I guess ultimately the reason that I'm not a mythicist is, to me, just the claim that there was a a preacher running around first century Jerusalem, like, to me, is mundane in itself. Like, it's
Yeah.
almost a given. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, it's no
was
different
there
than the
crazy
guy,
preachers running around the first century Rome? Sure.
right?
Did Rome crucify people? Sure. They did it all the time. Like,
Yeah.
It's no different than the
like, to
crazy
me,
guy
that's
under the
it's
bridge
not
with the
crazy.
sign, right? With the
Yeah,
apocalyptic sign,
yeah,
God
yeah.
is coming. Like, okay, great.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not even, to me, that's not an extraordinary claim. It's almost a given.
Mhm.
But to, like, base anything real historically on this man, he might as well be a myth, because any and all semblance of that man is lost to history. You know what I mean? So,
Well, and
in that case,
since
Jesus Christ is
that
completely
story,
made up.
we've had other people like him that say they're the Messiah that have come through and started cults and hasn't ended well.
Yeah, way better ones than him, as far as fitting the context of the prophecies.
I
But
was
it
going to
was the
say some of them
same
fulfilled some
thing,
of
you
those
know.
prophecies.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, it's kind of the same. You know, come follow me. You know, he's got 12 disciples. I mean, come on. But
Couldn't have locked
and
in
then
13, huh?
could
Listen,
got that
13's one
even
too
number
many.
12.
Didn't you know that?
That's an unlucky number too.
Becomes a crowd at that point. You just can't have that.
Oh, we have to have even couples.
That requires a whole nother
You can't play
permit.
football like that. Yeah, you can't play.
That requires a whole nother Roman permit. You can't do all that. Like, it's just keep it simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta have somebody in the middle there. Oh shit! Hello, maybe we got some.
There is argument that Mary Magdalene was the 13th. There is argument for that.
Okay.
I don't know what that does for anything, but there is argument for it.
Yeah. He wasn't a total misogynist.
Jacob, are you there?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, man? Are you over 18 and Christian?
Yeah, I'm 22. Okay, look, I'm trying to see what, like, about this hair thing. Like, I was reading the Bible earlier, right? And then they say the hair, don't cut the sides. And then I call my friend, he said, oh, but the New Testament, we could do whatever we want. But, like, I don't know, that sounds, okay, what you got to say about that? Like, the hair, like, it's in the Bible. Back then it say we can't cut it, or then now it say long hair and this and this. So, like,
in the New Testament, who's the one telling you that it's okay to do it?
Jesus.
Jesus or Paul?
Oh, yeah. Tell me.
No, I'm asking you.
I don't know. I was studying that earlier.
What book are you reading it in?
Shit. I guess the Bible. I don't know which Bible.
No, not which Bible. Like what book of the Bible? Like, was it under?
Oh, I don't remember for real, man. I just remember it said, "Don't cut the sides, and don't grow it long if you a man." Yeah, like don't cut the sides at all, or the edges of the beard.
That's probably a tradition thing. I'm not sure there was laws on that kind of stuff.
That was
But,
the
I mean, it
Old
wouldn't
Testament.
surprise
That's
me.
the Old Testament.
Okay, the side thing. That's a Levitical law. It's a one of their
Don't cut your hair and don't
Yeah.
grow it long. Yeah, it said that in the Old Testament. It said don't cut the sides of your hair. You gotta let that grow. And then don't cut your beard. And then say if you a man, you can't have long hair. But I'm just trying to get this on. Like, I ain't get a haircut in 2 or 3 months. You know, I'm trying to figure this out. Like,
You try to make sure you ain't going to hell.
nah. Is it? Nah, I just want to take like step by step. You know, like I feel like it's just a small step that's gonna make another step, and then I'm gonna make another step, and slowly I'm gonna like change the lifestyle. That's what I'm trying to do. Like, you know.
Well, if you're trying to follow Levitic law, then you're not going to like it, because there's a whole lot of other stuff.
Levitic law, what's that? That's like Old Testament stuff. Levitic law?
Yeah, that's where what you're talking about with the haircutting comes from.
Oh, okay. So what is what's the New Testament? So that when he's like my friend said we could do whatever we want. I don't know. That sounded kind of crazy. Like,
it has to do with it's basically mostly about gender roles. So, like in the Old Testament, that the way they were cutting their hair based on Levitical law, that was mostly to define your holiness and that kind of thing. But later on in the New Testament, how you cut your hair was more about your role in gender in the society. So men wore theirs a certain way while
Fade.
women wore theirs a different
That's
way.
why men get fades now.
Well, I mean, no, that's just cultural changes over time in general, yeah. But specifically biblically, it's because in the Old Testament, it was a sign of holiness and devoutness and the way you did it. In the New Testament, it was about your societal gender roles. That's all.
Okay, so we could do whatever now.
Yeah.
Like, you could
You can do
dye
whatever you
it.
want.
Well, it depends on which part of the Bible you read, but if you read Paul, sure, you can do whatever you want.
No, what do you say? What do you say? Are you Christian?
I say it's complicated. It depends on what part of the Bible you read. There's no
you
straightforward answer there.
Are you Christian?
No, I'm an atheist.
Oh, word. Hey, who Christian on here? The dude that was talking to me?
Nope.
Damn. I mean, that's not bad. I mean, I don't know. Everybody different. But
Yeah.
We probably know a lot more about the book than a lot of the people you know.
okay, yeah, that's true. That's what I did notice about atheists. No cat. That's what I do notice about atheists. Like, they know though. Okay, so check this out. Let's say if you was Christian, right? Like in this scenario, right? What would you follow? Like
you do whatever you want with your hair nowadays. They don't care.
Bet. They don't care. Bet.
They don't care.
What do you
that's
think
because
about?
they don't listen to Jesus.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah. Oh, and how long you been atheist though?
I've been for nearly a decade and a half now.
Damn, bro. No God?
No God.
Shit.
I don't like to obsess over whether I'm cutting the side of my hair or not. I just let it grow. I'm not worried about religion, man. I got better things to worry about than which part of my hair I can cut and which part I can't.
Nah, yeah. This is just a small thing. You know, I ain't stressing over that, but I'm just like,
you wanna hear a big thing that God wants you to do?
yeah, let me hear that.
If anybody entices you to other gods, you're supposed to take up a stone and throw it at them until they die.
Is that New Testament?
It's Old Testament. It's the laws of God.
True, but they say that. Look, I'm not like arguing with y'all. I'm just saying. Look, they say that we don't gotta listen to the Old Testament no more. You heard that, right?
Well, yeah, that's them saying you don't have to listen to God anymore.
That's crazy. That do make sense. What you trying to say?
Yeah, that's them listening to Paul.
So Paul the one saying you can do whatever you want with your hair now.
Paul said you can do whatever you want.
Let's say if y'all wanted to be good Christians, what would y'all do?
That's a good question because it depends. Are you going to listen to Paul or are you going to listen to God and Jesus because they don't agree with each other?
Okay, so Jesus and God, they ain't say you can do whatever you want with your hair. That's only Paul that said that.
Yeah, God says to keep the law forever. Jesus says to keep God's laws forever. And Paul says there is no law. You're free. Unless you keep sinning. And then it don't count anymore.
Damn, bro, that shit confusing, bro.
Tell me about it. Did you know in Hebrews 11, he says, even though Jesus sacrificed himself for you, it says, if you persist in sin, there is no sacrifice for you or mercy. So in other words, if you sin more than once after you've been saved, the sacrifice is useless to you. And that's even according to Paul.
Who said that?
Paul did.
All of them did.
Hebrews 10.
He said if you sin, the Jesus, the salvation don't count for you. Yeah, put that.
Absolutely.
Please.
That's exactly what it says.
Like,
yeah, I'll read it to you.
And that's because
it says, for if we willfully persist in sin after having received the truth of knowledge, there no longer remains a sacrifice for sins. Verbatim. That's one sentence.
Wait, what's getting saved? Like the water's thing?
Wait, what?
Like what's getting saved? Like what's getting saved?
Oh, it depends on your denomination.
That's subjective too.
Yeah, that's going to depend on your denomination.
Oh, good. I ain't get saved yet. I mean, this old lady tried to save me on the side of the street, but I was young. I was young, though. I remember that. I was young. Those don't count,
thank
right?
God you didn't take the leap there.
Wait, those don't count, right?
No.
I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
think
You
so.
gotta do some work. Okay, so I'm still good. Shit, hey. Wait, but damn, that sounds crazy though. But why do it say that every great man falls 7 times?
It just depends on how you look at this, man. If you totally listen to Paul, you're under what's called hyper grace. That means the law was abolished for all Gentiles. That means you don't basically have to worry about anything. You just have to
Love
act
Jesus.
right.
That's it.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
so
but who the fuck? Why is Paul? Okay, so Paul. Damn. So repeat that again. Like Paul
Paul
yeah,
said,
was
let me read here. I'll read you a few lines here, and it
Paul
becomes
said we
pretty
could do
clear what
whatever we
Paul actually
want.
thinks. Yeah, Paul says the law is abolished. You are not under a law. You're under grace, which means
So why did he
judgment is
say?
pointless.
So why did he say that that if we get saved and we sin again that it don't count?
Because he's saying you can't get saved and just keep doing the same old thing. He's trying to
Yeah, bro.
basically annul what he just said.
That's kind of impossible though, cause we fucking human, like.
Yeah.
And
Well,
we
it's not
born in
impossible. There was
sin.
people that lived righteously according to law in the Bible.
Dang,
But
yo,
it
that's
says,
crazy. All right, go
yeah,
ahead.
listen to the whole thing here. It says, if we willfully persist in sin after having received the knowledge of the truth, there no longer remains a sacrifice for sins, but a fearful prospect of judgment and a fury of fire that will consume the adversaries. Anyone who has violated the law of Moses dies without mercy on the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah.
Man, that shit crazy, cuz, hey, man, look.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, bro. Is this in the New Testament?
Yeah, he basically says if you persist in sin, the sacrifice it. Yeah, this is in Hebrews chapter 10.
Oh,
And it says, how much worse will the punishment do you think will be deserved by those who have spurned the Son of God, profaned the blood of the covenant by which they were sanctified, and outraged the Spirit of grace? He is literally saying that breaking the law is better than breaking the law after the sacrifice. He's saying it's going to be even worse for you.
I could see
if you
that.
violate the law after Jesus, because then he's saying you're also re-crucifying Jesus.
Fuck, man. Hey, good thing I ain't
He's
get
saying it's
saved
going to
yet.
be even worse for you.
I
He
ain't get
makes the
saved.
law even worse, even though he says it's gold. Like, how does that fucking work?
Yeah, I still got time, I think. Hey, but all right, so, damn, dog. Like, you used to be Christian or something, like.
used to
I
be.
used to. I was a Christian until I was in my late 20s.
Yep, used to be.
Damn, bro. Damn, I ain't gonna lie, that's crazy, bro. I gotta bring these scriptures to the pastor tomorrow, cause I'm like, what the fuck? Hey, what? Okay, you said that was Paul. Okay, Hebrews.
This is Hebrews chapter 10, and that starts in verse 26.
Hebrews chapter 10. I'm gonna write this down. I'm gonna definitely.
Hey, if you do go ask your preacher about this, please come back and tell us what he says.
Bet, I got you. Okay, you say Hebrews, Paul. Wait, what's it called again?
This is Hebrews 10, and that was verse 26 is where I started reading. That.
Verse 26. I'm definitely gonna ask him about that, cause I don't be scared. Straight up. And if they don't answer me, I'll be like, damn, you a piece of. Hey, but that's what's up though. Hey, but wow. Okay, so what do y'all feel about like the Quran?
It's just as bad as the Bible.
For
if
real.
not worse.
Yeah, feel you.
It's
Yeah, so
better
what do y'all
written,
think?
if that makes sense. Like the Quran's written as one
Cohesive
univocal authority, and that's the weakness of the Bible. So they actually corrected that part.
Yeah.
The part that they didn't correct is they based it on nothing, ultimately.
Okay, so have y'all like okay, so where do we come from then? Like, if y'all don't believe in God, like, was we
monkey fucking
monkey?
monkey fucking.
That's one way to do it, I guess.
Bro, are you serious?
Yeah.
We came from monkeys.
Well, we didn't come from
Monkey
monkeys,
fucking.
but we're related to them, yes. But we came from a common ancestor.
Yeah, bro. So y'all okay. Besides us, right? Where did like all this stuff come from? Where did all this, the earth, the water, all this stuff? Where did it like who put it here? Or did it like what's up with that?
That's
comes from
going to be a
matter and
matter of
energy.
opinion.
Matter of opinion. See, so
If you
nobody
want to
knows.
go by what science tells you, science can tell you all about the
Yeah, I
Big
don't
Bang.
believe in science. I don't trust science.
Well, then that's the Big Bang. But if you're talking about other religions, then you're going to have to talk with other gods.
Big Bang. Look, man.
Oh, okay. All right. So I got a little. Let me explain why I say we came from monkeys. Because in evolution, nothing can evolve outside of a clade, right? So if you go back 35 to 40 million years ago, humans belong to two greater clades that split off from each other. One is called the Catarrhini and one is called the Platyrrhini.
I heard about the Catarrhini. Is that the like?
Catarrhini means old world monkeys. So
Is that
if you can't
like
evolve
the
outside
cave?
of a clade,
Wait,
then
wait,
we
wait.
are monkeys by
Are you saying
taxonomic
the
classification.
Calar, whatever that word is them like caveman type?
No, Catarrhini means old world monkeys. It's monkeys that evolved in the old world.
So
if we can't evolve outside of a clade, we've been monkeys for over 40 million years.
They were
And
monkeys
also
that
apes
walked
and
upright.
primates.
Yeah, they were monkeys that walked on their hind legs.
Yo, I don't think I'm a monkey. No.
I just mean clade wise and taxonomically. And if evolution is changed through reproduction, then we came from monkey fucking.
Monkey fucking.
Oh God, I love it.
I'll give you that.
Dang, so y'all don't think like spirits and like all that, like
You have to give me proof that those things exist.
say what?
You have to give me proof those things exist.
Or understand what an actual spirit was to the ancient people,
do you
which was
think
literally
that,
just
like,
breath.
Do you think that you have to prove everything to believe it?
Yeah, otherwise what's the point in believing it?
Okay, but I got a question though. You don't got proof that your mom and dad had, and made you.
I don't have to prove it. I know they did. I wouldn't be here if they didn't.
You know how you don't know.
Because I can't be here if they didn't.
But it could have been somebody else.
No, my parents know that I'm their child. There's no denying that.
But give me proof.
I don't need to.
How about a birth certificate? People came to visit people
Birth
in the
certificates are
hospital.
not true because even though you're not. No. Listen. I had a kid. I had a kid. Like I thought I had a kid. You could sign the birth. That ain't shit. That don't mean you the dad.
Because I look just like both my parents. I have my birth certificate. Both of them are on it. And I'm also compatible with them in various types of things because we have had medical things that we've been tested on. So
let's just skip
DNA, genetics. Yeah.
Let's just skip that part. Okay, guys. I just want you. I don't. Okay. So,
well, listen too. You don't need absolute certainty. All you need is some good evidence to justify your belief.
Right.
But if you can't find even a scrap of good evidence, you probably shouldn't base your belief on it.
Okay, what if you just sit there like in a room, right, and there's nobody there? You just pray. You don't feel that? Like you don't be feeling that?
I feel myself praying, but that doesn't mean that there's a supernatural thing that's doing something. It just means I'm sitting there praying.
Man, I'm telling y'all, like, okay, I don't know which, I'm not saying, I don't know which God, like, the Christian, all this stuff, the Muslim, and I don't know which one, right? But I know it's something because it's like, man.
If you know, you would have proof of that. So you should be able to show us what that evidence is.
You gotta find it within yourself, though.
I've looked in myself. There's nothing there.
No, you gotta.
No God, no spirit, no soul.
Yeah, myself is wrong all the time, so I'm gonna need some evidence.
You can't give up, though.
I don't trust myself.
Look, maybe something.
Listen. Just like there's a movie called "She's Just Not That Into You." After a while, you just have to realize it's not going to happen. I was a Christian for most of my life. The God was never there.
This is not about Christians. This is about God.
I just told you, the God was never there. Prayed, I cried, I begged, I pleaded, I did all the things, I meditated, I fasted, I did it all.
Yes, sir.
No God. No God.
Look, there's people that have been through way worse stuff than us. You know what I'm saying?
What's that got to do with anything? That just means they've been through bad shit.
But don't say just like I don't know, man. I just really passionate about this, man. Like I do think there is a creator, right? And everybody here has like a mission, a purpose. You know what I'm saying?
You have to assign yourself a purpose because there's a lot of people that pass away before anything is ever accomplished in their
But
life. So you would have to
they
explain
still
that.
came here and did what they had to do, even if it was little bit of stuff. Like you don't know who they talked to. They was here to do something and they did it.
To millions of children who die every day of starvation, what was their purpose?
Well, look, that had to happen, and
Why does that have to happen?
because everything happened for
Yeah,
a
especially
reason.
when Jesus promised not to worry about food because he says God will feed you. Don't worry.
Yeah, I bet you they eating good right now.
You know, there's an average of like 25,000 people a day that starve to death on planet Earth.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But look, this is the thing. Like, it's good and it's evil. You know.
That just means people do good things and bad things. Good and evil
No,
itself aren't.
it's good stuff and then it's evil. Evil exists, so does good stuff. Like
What evil exists without humans enacting their own desires?
Like I said, like you just said, kids die, people starve. You know,
based on humans doing what humans do, their decisions. Good and evil are outcomes. They're not forces in the world. People themselves make these decisions. They are the ones who have to. If they have a certain amount of empathy or compassion, then they're not going to do the things that they're going to do.
Would y'all ever give like God a second chance?
No, I've given God more
I
than
would
2
if somebody
chances.
could actually demonstrate.
See, I respect you for
worth
at
it.
least saying that. You know what I'm saying? I respect that.
If there's proof, that's different. But until there's proof, he's had more chances than I can count already.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, for real. Like,
let me
good
tell you
luck with
something.
that. Like,
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, right? I don't want y'all to know I mess with y'all. You know, we all cool. We just debating right now. You know what I'm saying? Okay, but look, I'm gonna come back later too, like a couple days. But I'll fuck with y'all. I'm not trying to like whatever. I'm just trying to let it out and we talk. You know what I'm saying? Okay, look. What if like one day, like something's talking to you and you think you're going crazy, but you literally hear a voice telling you stuff. You're gonna go crazy. Oh shit, you might want to tell your mom, but guess what? You ain't gonna have no proof because how you gonna get that proof? But what if it did happen though? Like what if
how did you determine that voice was God? How do you know?
Because what if a voice said,
well,
whatever your name is, what's your name?
My name is Dougal, but hold on a second. Listen. Listen to what my question is, okay? All right. When you're sitting there and you're just in a room and you're just thinking about stuff, like I don't know, you're doing homework, you're reading a book, you're whatever it is, right? Do you think in words or do you think in pictures?
When I'm reading a book?
No, when you're just doing anything, thinking in general, by yourself, you're just sitting there and you're thinking. Do you think in pictures or words?
Oh, both, right?
Okay, good. Now, did you know that people often, especially people like you and people like me who think with words, I think primarily in words, right? So I'm a constant conversation in my head as thought.
Yeah.
So oftentimes there are times where my own voice changes a little bit. Your brain just does that sometimes. How did you rule out that voice you heard wasn't just you?
Yes, sir. This is what I'm about to say, right? What if that voice clearly said your name and he said, "Hey, I am God." Like literally, would you go crazy or not? Like,
that's called. I've done that too. That's called an intrusive thought. Sometimes your brain just does stuff. No.
I'm not talking about. I'm talking about a clear, like a voice you ain't never heard before. It's not yours.
Yes, yes.
They
your brain sometimes just does shit. It's called an intrusive thought.
Okay. Let me step it up. When he said, "Hey, your name, I am God," and he put something in front of your face, like it's like a ghost putting something in front of your face. What? Okay, then what?
What did he put in front of your face?
Like, let's say he put a paper.
His low-ends?
Let's say he put a paper and he told you, he said, "I love you, son."
Now, did that actually happen, or are you just making up a scenario?
No. This ain't happened to me, or no. I don't know. I'm just saying this, right? If this happened to you, you can't prove this to nobody.
But the problem is that you're making up an imaginary scenario that you can't prove yourself. So unless you can give me a scenario that you can actually prove, and that's just imagination at work.
Okay, look. I was just asking you, if that happened to you, how would you feel?
Well, I would first need confirmation that it's God and not something else. Because Even that book tells you that sometimes evil spirits will deceive you.
Oh yeah, I believe that. I believe that. I ain't
Right.
gonna lie.
So
I believe that.
even if that happened, I would still need confirmation that it really was the God you're talking about.
Man,
And then
okay.
on
What if a cross with Jesus on it, they just floated in your face in your room, and then it just
how did
disappeared?
you rule out that was not a deceiving spirit trying to trick you? How do you rule
Nah,
out
you're
that's
right.
not a
Shit, I
deceiving
know. You're
spirit?
right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
I mean, that's the problem with the Bible. It covers all the bases. Like it says, it gives you a test for false prophets. It says if a prophet says something that don't happen or come true, then it wasn't for me. But it also says he's going to send legit false prophets to test you with actual prophecies. Like, so which is it? Like, is it, how do you know? Like, it doesn't give you an actual
Right.
system to know anything.
And Jesus often tells you, here's the thing. Jesus tells you flat out in that book, if you truly believe in him and have him in your heart and taken the law into your heart like you're supposed to, then you cannot sin and you are able to do works that are greater than him.
Yes,
Which
sir.
means
Yes,
you can
sir.
do those things that he does, but better and greater.
Yeah. Yes,
None
we
of
can.
y'all are at hospitals healing nobody.
Yeah, because everybody fucked up.
No, it doesn't matter.
No, yeah,
He's
because we have to
no.
we gotta get
Listen.
righteous. We gotta be holy. We gotta walk in those
Listen. He said, if you believe in him, you will not be able to sin. And it says,
Nah, what? Who said that?
and it says,
Who said that? Who said that?
that's in
We'll
the
read it in
Bible.
just a second.
What part?
He's bringing it
Hold
up.
on, we'll read it in just a second.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I
okay,
got
good.
it. Oh, I
And
thought
he
he was still
says,
saying something.
and he says on top of that, well, he doesn't say, but in the book it also says, if you believe in him, you will also be able to do works greater than him. But a
Yeah.
lot of y'all keep on sinning afterward, and all of you, none of you, are at no hospitals
Wow,
healing anybody.
that's
None of
crazy.
you are turning water to wine. None of you are feeding the homeless. None
Wait,
of you are
hold up. Why
none of
you
that.
lying though? It's
You're
people
not.
doing that stuff.
Okay, wait, so you're telling me there are people out on the street turning one piece of bread and one fish
Oh,
into
now okay,
food for
but people feed
thousands?
a lot of people feed the homeless.
Yeah, but that doesn't have to do with Christianity. Oftentimes Christianity claims they are and they're not. I'm talking about people in general that believe the book says they will be able to do works that are greater
But why you
than
say
Jesus.
nobody that like, and then you say feed homeless? People do that.
No, you missed what I said.
Okay, repeat it.
I said the book says you will be able to do works that are greater than Jesus. Jesus fed the homeless through magic.
Oh yeah.
None of you are out there healing people or feeding them in the way
Resurrecting.
that Jesus did in greater ways.
Shit, probably work, spend our hard-earned money on more food, and feed them. Shit.
That's not a work that's greater. That's you giving up money. That he said you'll be able to do the works yourself.
Yeah. What if you?
Yeah, like
What
you
if?
should be able to walk on water better than Jesus, which means you should actually be able to just like walk above the water.
What? I got a question. What if you saw me walk on water? Then what would you say?
I'd be pretty impressed.
And then you'll start believing what I tell you.
No, not
I
necessarily.
would think about it.
No,
A
so
lot
if you see
harder.
me, if I tell you that I believe in Jesus and I walk on water, you will start listening to what I'm saying, right?
No, because I got beef with
I would be
Jesus.
more
You
inclined.
got beef with Jesus, but if you
Yeah.
see a man like you walk on water, you still wouldn't like. You still be like,
I would believe he exists, but I'd still have my beef.
nah. What's the beef? What's the beef?
He's an absolute monster. That's why.
Oh my god. Okay, listen. If you see a man walk on water and he talking about Jesus, we gotta like listen to
I
him.
don't
seen
give
a
a
man
fuck if
walk
he
on
walk on
water.
water and hand me a cup of wine from beneath his feet. I don't give a fuck.
So no matter
You know
what,
David
you
Blaine
just never
walks
gonna
on water,
believe.
right?
So no matter what, you just never.
Did you know
gonna-
David Blaine walks on water?
Right.
I don't
David
know who
Blaine
that
walks
is.
on
Who's
water.
that? Who's that?
He's a
David
famous
Blaine is a
magician.
famous musician.
Who?
David Blaine.
David Blaine.
Is he a normal person?
He's
Yeah.
a magician, yeah.
Oh, magician? Nah, bullshit. Trust me. Trust me.
Who
I've
walks on
seen
the
him do
water?
it.
Nah, trust me. Magicians is always, man. Come on, y'all.
How
Oh,
do you
y'all
prove
supposed to
that
know.
Jesus wasn't just a magician?
Because at that time, magicians nowadays they got stuff like tricks.
The practice of a lot of these magicians have been around for a long time.
Like along
There's
your pieces.
There's a guy named Celsus that wrote in the 3rd century. He literally says he knows that Jesus went to Egypt because it was reported. He says Jesus learned like magicianry in Egypt and then came back to Israel and fooled everybody.
Right. They had magicians back then. They fooled people all the time with stuff. That's why they thought alchemy and shit was real.
I mean, David Blaine can walk on water right now.
Nah,
Nobody
brother,
knows
no,
how
he
he does
can't. He
it.
can't walk on pure 100% water with his pure
How?
feet.
I'm
All
saying
that's
it's a
said in the
trick. If
Bible.
David Blaine can do it today and
Right.
you can't
Yeah,
explain
it's
how
a
he did
trick.
it, it just goes to
Listen.
show you that people can trick people and
Jake,
walk on
I'm
water.
not talking
That
about no
part's
trick.
proven.
Jake,
I'm not talking about no tricks. I'm talking about you could go in the water yourself, get out, and watch me do it, and wash my feet.
according
Well, I'll tell
to the
you
book,
what,
you
you
should
come
be able
walk on
to.
water and I'll deconvert right now.
You promise.
Or reconvert him in. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
promise.
I won't, but
promise.
you can go walk on water and prove that he's real at least. Sure.
Nah, see, you asking for way too much.
You're the one that brought up the scenario.
No, but you
Come
said
to my
I got
house. I have a pond on my back porch. I have a koi pond. Come to my house and step on that water and don't sink.
Where you
And
from?
I will reconvert right now.
Where you from?
Or whenever you do it.
Where you from?
North Alabama.
Oh, I'm in North Carolina.
Yeah, pretty. You can be here in like 10 hours, 9 or 10 hours.
Man, I promise you, bro, I'm gonna work on this, bro. I swear I'm gonna work on this, and I know I can do it. I know I can walk on water.
Let me ask you something else
And it's
based
gonna
on
be-
what we were saying a minute ago.
it's gonna be
So,
because of
are
Jesus
you a
Christ.
sin? Do you think you sin? Are you a sinner?
Hell yeah.
You remember what Dougal was saying
About when you saved and
you're
then-
not supposed to sin if you're in God?
I mean, well, read it again. I kind of forgot.
Well, I'm saying you can expand even on what Dougal says. Not only does it say if you're in Christ, you shouldn't be sinning, you should be perfect.
Shit.
John goes so far as to say if you're sinning, then you have never seen nor known God. You are of the devil if you are sinning.
Because you can't sin.
What Bible?
Exactly.
Oh, what Bible are y'all reading?
The Bible, the versions don't really change anything, Jake. Not a lot anyway.
You want me to read it to you?
So you
This is
saying
from
that
First-
this is in every Bible?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is in 1 John chapter 3, and it says, everyone who commits sin is guilty of lawlessness. Sin is lawlessness. You know that he was revealed to take away sins, and in him there is no sin. No one who abides in him sins. No one who sins has either seen nor known him. Little children, let no one deceive you. Everyone who does what is right is righteous, just as he is righteous. Everyone who commits sin is of the devil, for the devil has been sinning from the beginning.
Is this
Son
the
of God
old?
was
Is this the
revealed for
old
this
or the
purpose,
new?
to destroy the works of the devil. This is the New Testament. This is 1 John chapter 3.
Man, bro, what the fuck? Okay, look, I'm definitely gonna make a trip tomorrow to the church, bro. I gotta go to it.
Well, if you do, please come back and let us know what
Nah,
they
I
told you.
definitely
'Cause I'm
will,
always
trust
curious
me.
what people get told.
Yeah,
Like if they go ask the preacher about this stuff.
but look, at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, sometimes, look, at the end of the day, I believe in God. At the end of the day, Jesus Christ, he was here for a reason. I'm not necessarily locking myself into the Bible, to Christianity, or because you know what? I'm still trying to figure this out myself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I do think there is a God, there's a higher power, and I do think the devil is real, and that's why shit should be happening. So, bro, y'all don't believe in like demons and all that stuff, like what's going on, like
Only
people
Christians seem to have spiritual problems. I don't have spiritual problems.
he's going to his passage.
Me neither. Dude, it's hard enough to get through with reality other than adding a whole nother universe of magical
I feel you.
deities on
I
top
can
of
see
it,
that.
man.
I can see that. I can see that.
It's hard enough to get up and go to work every damn day. Start adding in demons and wizards.
Yeah,
and
I feel you.
it's just- You're just complicating something that's already so. It's like,
I respect that. I respect that. But it's like this, man. If it's evil, it gotta be a higher power. Like What the?
That's what you're assuming, but I
Thank
don't
you for
think
the
there is.
dragon, Eweezy. That was
Okay,
awesome. Thank
so
you.
y'all don't think that evil exists, like demons, and like.
It's not a
Evil is a
matter of
concept. Yes, we can agree people do what we can consider evil. But we're talking about God here. I think God is evil.
Nah, God is God.
that doesn't change
God is
his
evil.
statement.
We are cursed right now.
By what?
We are cursed because Adam and Eve.
You know what would be really good for you, Jacob?
Was good.
The 7-day atheist challenge.
It was that.
You just be an atheist for 7 days. Don't think about gods. Don't think about demons. Don't think about miracles. Just get up, brush your teeth, eat some breakfast, go to work, watch some TV, check out some sports.
See, but
maybe
that's
some,
not
I don't know what
my
season it is.
purpose. That's not my purpose though.
Yeah, but I'm saying just try it for a week. Don't worry about pleasing a god.
But
Just worry about making it through the day without worrying about demons and miracles.
nah, I can't do I can't do that. Look, I may be a sinner. I might
You should
smoke.
try it. You'll
I
love
might
it.
smoke. I might have. I might. Let me keep
Are
going.
you persisting in sin?
Let me keep going. I don't tell. I smoke.
Don't tell me you're persistent in sin. You're screwed
I
either
don't
way.
care. I smoke. I do stuff with girls. I listen to bad music. But
this is horrible.
at the end of the day, I would never be an atheist, and I will always follow God. Like
Never
Sounds
say
like you're
never. I
already
thought
an
the same
atheist.
thing.
I'm not
You're
an
doing all
atheist
the evils
because I
and claiming
pray.
you're a Christian. Like that
Because
don't
I
make
pray
no
to
sense.
God. Because I pray to God and I talk to Him, and I yeah.
Well,
I'm
I
not
can
an
tell
atheist.
you, I have said the same thing in my life, and guess what?
That's cool, and that's why you are you, and I am
We'll give you
me.
3 guesses.
And we could still be cool. You know what I'm saying? Like we could all still be cool.
I mean, we are cool.
Yeah.
I think you're funny. You're cracking me up, man. Like I've enjoyed talking to you. It's fun. We read him a Bible verse. He's like, God damn, that's fucked up.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah,
I'm not your typical like Christian or believer. I'm not even saying I'm Christian, but
You're a lot more typical than you think you are.
whatever.
I will tell you, I am very much looking forward to hearing what your pastor tells you about what we told you.
Yeah.
Y'all heard I got an honorable mention on Mezzo, right?
Wait, what?
Did you?
Yeah, there was a guy who was saying I sent him on the road to doubt when he talked to me, but he was talking to Mezzo about it.
Oh,
And
awesome.
he said he asked his pastor and prayed hard on what I talked to him about. He said I haven't got a single answer worth a damn.
Yeah, well, his pastor's an asshole.
Maybe his pastor's just the typical pastor that can't answer the questions that nobody can answer.
Yeah, I mean, it is some bad pastors out here. Some of them just do for the money,
Well, I'm saying even a good pastor is not going to answer these questions satisfactorily because you can't. Well, you can, but you're not going to look good.
Yeah, we
You
have
look like a psycho.
Who, me?
Anybody who tries to justify the shit that God is doing in the Bible.
Me and my pastor, we locked in. Like we.
Okay, well, ask your pastor why God is making the Israelites eat their own children and see what he says.
Damn, yeah, I'm definitely gonna ask about that.
Yeah, do that.
Cause there's no problem. I mean, I'm just be like, yeah, I just came across this information.
Ask him why he's having babies' brains bashed out.
Wait, what?
Yep, bash the baby.
Ask him why God is having babies' brains bashed out. Ask him why he's having women raped. And the only thing he's going to say is, well, he's God. He probably knows better. Like, and that might work for you, but that don't work for me.
Wait,
Not
wait.
even kind
I
of
mean,
close.
great. What you mean? When
Oh,
this
we're not allowed to
Great.
say that word on TikTok. It's what men often do to women against their will.
Where is that at?
Hold on. You know what? I'll read it straight up uncensored. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, appreciate it.
There's several verses that say this, and I'll read them all to you. We'll go through every one of them right here.
Yeah, just get
So
it.
this is from Isaiah 13, verse 16. It says, their infants will be dashed to pieces before their eyes, their houses will be plundered, and their wives raped. Straight up said it. Here, I'll read you another one.
Wait, why
This
did he
is the
say that?
Israelites.
Wait, why?
Yeah. It's Babylon. It's the proclamation of Babylon.
But why?
And here's one against Israel himself. And it says, "See, the day is coming for the Lord, when the plunder taken from you will be divided amongst your midst. For I will gather the nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses plundered, and the women raped."
Wait, why? Why though? What the fuck?
Because they're spoils of
Because,
war.
well,
Cause it's
yeah, they're
what?
pissing God off.
They're pissing God off,
Yeah.
and he gonna rape them. I mean,
Yep.
grape.
Yep.
Yeah, he does.
Nah, bruh. Nah, heck nah, dawg.
Well,
You heard what I just read, right?
Read the first one again. Read the first one again.
All right, Isaiah 13. I'm going to read verse 15 through 19.
Man,
It says, "Whoever is found will be thrust through, and whoever is caught will fall by the sword. Their infants will be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses will be plundered."
Who is he talking
Babylon.
to?
This is about the Babylonians.
What? Okay, Babylonians. What is that? Like, is that that's a group of people?
Yeah, it's a people group.
And what did they did something to piss God off?
Why does that matter about having women grape though?
Nah, you're right. I'm just trying to make this clear. They did something.
Well, I'll be clear. I'll tell you why.
They did those people that you just mentioned. What did they do to?
Yeah. So it tells you in Jeremiah 25 why he gets mad at Babylon, and this is going to make him even more sick, in my opinion. Hold on, where's that here? 25. God's cup of wrath. Let's read this. All right, it says, "I am going to send for all the tribes of the north, says the Lord, even for King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon, my servant, and I will bring them against this land and its inhabitants, and against all these nations around." He's talking about bringing Babylon against Israel. This is against Jerusalem right now. And it says, "I will utterly destroy them and make them an object of horror and hissing and everlasting disgrace. And I will banish them from the sound of mirth and the sound of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride, the sound of milestones and the light of the lamp. This whole land shall become a ruin and a waste." He's talking about Jerusalem. "And these nations shall serve the king of Babylon for 70 years. And then after the 70 years are completed, I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation and the land of the Chaldeans for their iniquity, says the Lord, making that land an everlasting waste." So what Jesus is saying here, if you think Jesus is God anyway, he's using Nebuchadnezzar and Babylon to punish the Israelites because the Israelites have turned to other gods and stopped keeping his law. So he's saying here, I'm going to use Babylon to punish the Israelites for 70 years. And then after 70 years, I'm going to punish the Babylonians for having been used to punish the Israelites. So he's literally using them and then punishing them for having used them.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Women.
What?
So then that punishment includes raping those women.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And making the Israelites eat their own children.
Man, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's messed up, dude.
I mean, the Bible might not even be real. You know what I'm saying?
Well, then why believe in the God?
Well, because I mean, God don't got nothing to do with that one Bible.
Well, the only way you know about the God is
the only way to connect anything about it.
No, you got other stuff out here.
Like what?
Well, hold on. This is part of that proclamation I just read, and it says, "And I will make this city a horror, Jerusalem, a thing to be hissed at. Everyone who passes by it will be horrified and hiss because of all of its disasters.
Yeah,
and I will make them." It says, "And I will make them eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters, and all shall eat the flesh of their neighbors in the siege and in the distress in which their enemies and those who seek their lives afflict them."
Yes,
like God's literally making them eat their own children here.
Nah, yeah. Hey, look, I gotta go though. Y'all going live tomorrow?
Oh yeah.
All right, bet. What time? Same time?
I'm usually on by 8 a.m. Central Time. So for you, by 9, I should be on safely for sure. But I usually stay on at least a couple hours. So
you said I should stay?
Do what?
Wait, what'd you say? A couple hours? Oh no, I'll get the notification.
Oh, I said I'm on it. Yeah, I'm on at least a couple hours.
Bet. I'm definitely going to talk to some people about this. Hit you up tomorrow, see what I get, and we can keep talking and we can keep learning from each other. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have a good one though. Great. Yeah, y'all have a good one.
I got you, man.
I respect y'all and appreciate it.
Yeah, have a good one, buddy. All right, let's see if Chemo. Let's try Chemo for a run on here.
Hi, bro! From Syria, I need help for it. My family, 5 minutes, please. Please, bro. Get the blast, yeah, bro. We love you too, bro.
I have no idea what that was about.
There's a guy.
Kind of funny though. I thought I was looking at his hat. I was like ready to drop him, but I was like, "What is that on his head?"
Yeah, they usually like to stand on camera and get gifts. They're usually from some Muslim or country over in the
Sounded
Middle
like
East.
Russian almost to me. Like it was weird. Anyway. All right. Anyway, y'all, I have got to dump the live. I meant to be off like an hour ago, but I've got a whole lot of shit I've got to do. Spring cleaning out in the yard. Hopefully here before soon, I'll be kicking off the outside. Hey, Dugald, do you know if it's possible? How do you get writing on the screen on mobile, but without a background? Is that possible?
There's a board you can put up next to yourself, but it's kind of limited.
So it's not like overlaying the text, right?
Yeah, no, it's not like that. It's like you get a certain amount of characters and you can't even put up your own background. It's just kind of you can put up enough to get the point across if you want, and it would help.
Right.
But it kind of depends on your taste. I don't like it personally, but I know some people use it and it works fine.
I guess you can do it on laptop. I've been trying to figure out, because I've done it before. I've got it on video where I was doing a live stream with my pond in the back and I had text overlaid. I remember typing that shit on there, but I don't remember how I did it. I certainly can't seem to do it now. So
you can do it from Live Studio because there's like a banner you can put up, and then you can do it on here from a board, but it's literally a separate thing from you. It displays it next to you like a co-host panel does.
They just let you put some damn writing out there, because I love sitting outside, man. I'd sit out there all damn day doing this. I can't at night though, especially in the springtime, because we get a lot of frogs around the pond.
Oh man, yeah, they're loud as hell.
Go to fucking out there. It is, yeah.
They're loud as
You can't even hardly hear the TV in the bedroom. Sometimes they get so loud, mostly when it rains. Like
something
about when it rains or gets like really damp in the air, they just go.
Where I grew up,
as fuck. Like,
between the tree frogs, the bullfrogs, the crickets, and the cicadas, it was just a symphony every night outside. There wasn't a lot of quiet to it.
Yeah, I'm used to that, but don't make for a very good
not for a background on live unless you're trying to put everybody to sleep with nature noises.
Exactly. In the mornings it might not be so bad though, but I don't even mind a little. I actually like the sound of a little bird.
Well, yeah, in the morning, because that's when it adds the birds to the sounds.
Right. So yeah, I got a lot of work to do today and tomorrow though. But tomorrow I'm gonna do another. If it's people rolling in, I'll probably do a longer live tomorrow too. But I've got a ton of damn shit I got to do out in the yard, so I guess I better go get started on that. But anyway, Dugald, my man, it is always a pleasure.
It was fun, then. Thanks for having me up.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it. Always fun. You're welcome anytime, of course. Y'all don't forget Rocket City Reason, October. Huntsville, Alabama, 23rd, 24th, and 25th. Get your tickets for that.
I am likely going to be there.
Reason.com.
I will likely be there. I think so.
Yeah.
I believe I'm going to make it, yes.
Oh, fuck yeah, man. It's going to be so awesome. Pinkbeard's going to be there. I think Mama Bash is all coming. Like, man, it's going to be sick. I think Zach Laserhoffman, I think he's going to be there. Like, should be pretty tight, man. Be really, really tight.
Yep, I already talked to Godless, so I'm probably going to be there.
Hell yeah! You need to bring Justin with you, man. That'd be really sick.
I'll try to talk to him. We'll see.
Hell yeah! Well, all right, guys. Well, we will catch y'all back around this time in the morning. Hopefully, old dude will come back and tell us something cool about what his preacher said about us. Man, wouldn't that be awesome?
It would be, but I doubt.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I guess I do too, honestly. It would be cool. He seemed like a cool fellow, though.
He did.
Like my backup account. I'm going out on them here, perhaps, but I think my days are numbered on this channel here. So make sure you follow my backup so I can get it started if this channel gets taken down, which is probably coming.
Yeah, this is my backup, so follow me here too.
Oh yeah. I almost forgot about that. Dugald 2. Make sure you're following him. But yeah, I need to get this. You have to do, I think it's 30-minute stream for 3 different days before you can actually go live and have guests. So I've got to like get up to 50 followers and then meet that criteria before I can even, so I need to get all that going. So if y'all don't care, please throw me a follow over here. Once it gets to 50 followers, I'll start parking it over here like this too. That way all you people got to do is press over here and you can follow it. But I can't do that yet because I don't have 50 followers on my account. But anyway, guys, much love. Thank you all so much. Dugald was up here. Miss Jerry came up. We even had Dr. Josh. So it was an awesome day today.
Tell John about your backup. He might be able to override those.
Wait a minute, what?
Tell John about your backup not having live access. He'll be able to fix it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I had no idea. And maybe, well, hopefully it's almost there by now anyway. But yeah, I appreciate that. I'll holler at him for sure.
Agencies do a lot, I'm telling you.
Damn, yeah, that's awesome. Maybe I should talk to him. Like,
he holds a live he holds lives every day for anybody to go up and ask him questions.
So, like, there's some pretty good insights I would imagine he has, like, for stuff. So.
He's a very silly man, so you got to get through the silliness. He's hysterical. He's always willing to joke with you. But yeah, he holds a live almost every day that I know of. So just watch out for him and just go up and ask him questions. He'll read your analytics with you. He'll go over everything with you. He'll talk to you about what you can do, tips, advice, all that kind of stuff.
That sounds awesome, man. I appreciate the shit out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all right, guys. We will catch y'all back in the morning. Does anybody know? Well, I'm sure there's somebody to raid right now. Maybe Christ Before Jesus is still on, but Mama Bash might be still going. I'm not sure. But anyway, wherever you jump at, tell them the 8 sent you, and we'll spread it out there. Spread me like the herpes.
Bye, y'all.
Anyway, guys, y'all have a good one. We'll catch y'all tomorrow.